Chapter 350. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was deep in thought, the ghost-masked burial emperor did not stop. It was as if killing was the only way to intimidate everything. Of course, the ghost-masked burial emperor did not attack indiscriminately. Only those who had obstructed Jun Xiaoyao before were killed by the ghost-masked burial emperor. Her attack sent chills down everyone's spines. In the end, the ghost-masked burial emperor's gaze locked onto the group of experts from the Nether King Palace. They were the ones who were most against Jun Xiaoyao entering the burial ground. There was no other reason. If Jun Xiaoyao entered the burial ground, it would bring trouble to Chu Tianba. Before the tyrant body recovered, Chu Tianba would not stand a chance against Jun Xiaoyao. Ghost-masked burial emperor, don't go overboard. This is the burial ground, and you want to protect a genius from the outside world. Aren't you afraid of offending the world? Although the experts from the Nether King Palace were wary, they were not afraid. The Nether King Palace was a first-rate force, and they had experts like the Tianming Burial Emperor. Although the ghost-masked burial emperor was strong, she could not sweep through the burial ground 10 regions. The ghost-masked burial emperor did not say a word. She struck out with her hand again, and it was as if the void was about to explode. The expressions of the experts from the Nether King Palace changed. Right at this moment, a cold snort resounded in the void. Ghost-masked burial emperor, are you crazy? Following this cold snort, the entire sky seemed to have fallen into darkness. A figure shrouded in a ferocious-looking pitch-black armor broke through the void and arrived. The aura of a supreme being shook the universe. Palace Master. Looking at the figure that appeared, the experts from the Nether King Palace were overjoyed. The person who appeared was the Palace Master of the Nether King Palace, the Tianming Burial Emperor. As one of the top experts in the Eternal Burial Ground, although the Tianming Burial Emperor was ranked second, his strength was not much weaker than the Ghost-masked Burial Emperor. Seeing that the Tianming Burial Emperor had appeared, the crowd was in an uproar. The top experts of the 10 regions of Burial Earth had all appeared. Could it be that the world was going to change today? You've also appeared, but so what? Seeing the Heaven Underworld Burial Emperor appear, the ghost-masked female Burial Emperor's tone did not change. What kind of karma do you have with this kid? Why are you helping him? Could it be that you want to please the clan behind him? Tianming Zhen Huang squinted his eyes. It had to be said that his words were very vicious and cunning. He immediately placed the ghost-masked female burial emperor on the opposite side of the ancient burial earth. Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly. This Tianming burial emperor made him a little unhappy. It has nothing to do with you. The ghost-masked female burial emperor's words were cold. Although that was not what she meant, she was too lazy to explain. Ah, don't you want this kid to enter the burial world? That's fine. So what if you let him in? Tianming burial emperor said indifferently. If he did not allow Jun Xiaoyao to enter, the ghost-masked female burial emperor would not let the matter rest. Such a great Buddha, even if it was the Sky Underworld burial sovereign, he would still have to be extremely careful when dealing with him. Unless there was no other choice, Heaven Underworld burial emperor did not want to attack the ghost-masked female burial emperor. And even if Jun Xiaoyao entered the burial realm, it didn't mean that he could stop Chu Tianba from obtaining the opportunity. At the end of the day, it still depended on one's own ability. If you dare to enter, I dare to kill you. Chu Tianba's eyes shot out a cold light that seemed to be able to cut through the void. He wanted to kill Jun Xiaoyao personally and prove to the world that only the overlord body could be called a king. I'll return those words to you. Jun Xiaoyao was too lazy to talk back. When the time came, the facts would prove everything. Next, the quota to enter the burial world was also determined. Other than Jun Xiaoyao, Lang Huan, Chu Tianba, Long Xiang, and Mo Ling, 9 Nether AO, Blood Fiend Tribes Prodigy, Corpse Refining Sex Prodigy, and others were also qualified to enter. Other than that, the rest of the living beings could only watch from the outside. Thank you. Before entering the burial world, Jun Xiaoyao glanced at the ghost-masked female burial emperor and said softly. Although he did not know the cause and effect of it now, he would figure out in the future. After the burial world ends, I will look for you. The ghost-masked female burial emperor looked at Jun Xiaoyao and said. That face made her heart, which had been lonely for a long time, moved slightly. It had nothing to do with the feelings between a man and a woman. It was a very special feeling. However, to an outsider, this conversation was practically a hammer strike. The ghost masked female burial emperor has taken a liking to this pretty boy. Many male living beings' hearts were broken. Although they would never be able to obtain the ghost masked female burial emperor's favor, as long as the ghost masked female burial emperor did not like others, it was fine. It was like a girl chasing after a celebrity. Although it was impossible for her to have any relationship with her idol, as long as her idol fell in love, her heart would immediately break. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. He believed that the ghost masked female burial emperor did not have any ill intentions towards him. After that, Jun Xiaoyao and the others directly stepped into the spatial crack. The surrounding heaven and earth spun. The space was distorted and chaotic, and countless strange and motley illusions appeared. After a while, Jun Xiaoyao had already arrived at a place of dead silence. The heaven and earth were blood red, and there were a total of 7 blood-red suns hanging high in the sky. Not only did they not bring any warmth to this area, but they also added a bloody and murderous aura. A thick aura of death permeated the air. Even the living beings of the burial earth would probably feel a little uncomfortable. Jun Xiaoyao relied on his powerful saint body to withstand it. There were no other living beings around him. Clearly, when they entered just now, the space was chaotic and they did not land in the same place. We've finally arrived at the burial realm. Jun Xiaoyao let out a light breath. Before entering, Lang Huan had told him that they could barely explore the periphery of the burial realm. Perhaps they would obtain all kinds of opportunities, but they must not go deep. In the depths of the burial realm, even experts above the saint realm might bleed if they were not careful, let alone young geniuses like them. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care. He came here to find the 9 Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass. The system hasn't prompted me to sign in yet. Is it because I'm still at the edge of the burial realm? Jun Xiaoyao pondered. Perhaps the system would only prompt him to sign in after he went deep into the burial realm. Jun Xiaoyao continued forward. Along the way, he saw a skeleton half buried in the sand. The skeleton of a quasi-sage. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. For some ordinary geniuses, this kind of skeleton was already a great opportunity. If they could comprehend the runes in the skeleton, they might gain a lot. But Jun Xiaoyao wasn't interested, so he didn't stop. In the next few hours, Jun Xiaoyao occasionally found some treasures and opportunities, such as rare metals buried underground, netherworld grass that grew in the burial realm, and so on. Almost every few steps, he would find some treasures. No wonder the living beings of the burial realm all wanted to enter the burial realm. Indeed, they could find treasures anywhere. Unfortunately, Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about these treasures. Along the way, Jun Xiaoyao also encountered skeletal creatures. Previously, when he had just entered the burial earth and passed by the land of buried bones, he had also encountered such skeletal creatures. Fortunately, the skeletal creatures in the periphery of the burial realm weren't very strong, so Jun Xiaoyao easily dealt with them. When Jun Xiaoyao came across another skeletal creature, he was surprised. He was surprised to find that this skeletal creature was covered in thunder patterns and could control a trace of the power of thunder. This is strange. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. Chapter 351. As everyone knew, the eternal burial ground was a cold and ominous place. Most of the creatures in the burial ground were reincarnated from the dead. They were naturally restrained by the power of lightning and fire. Therefore, in the eternal burial ground, Jun Xiaoyao had almost never encountered a creature that could control the power of lightning and fire. Even if there were, it would be some special power like lightning and fire. On the other hand, the power of lightning unleashed by the skeletal being before him was the power of lightning that was of the purest yang. This was a little surprising. The only possibility was that the power of lightning did not come from the skeletal creature itself. It came from somewhere else. What did this mean? It meant a great opportunity. Jun Xiaoyao casually hit the skeleton with his palm. 10 billion pounds of divine power burst out and shattered the skeleton. He picked up a piece of bone and looked at the lightning patterns on it. What a complicated pattern. It's almost close to some great mystiques. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Great mystiques were very rare, such as the true dragon mystique, the divine phoenix mystique, the Chila mystique, and so on. Even with Jun Xiaoyao's experience, he could not ignore such a great mystique. He would take it seriously. It's still up ahead. Jun Xiaoyao continued to go deeper. Along the way, more and more skeletons were tainted with the power of lightning. This also meant that Jun Xiaoyao's direction was not wrong. In a part of the burial ground, there was a silver mountain range. The entire mountain was silver, as if it had been baptized and tempered by endless power of lightning. In the center of the mountain, there was a cave entrance. Endless lightning surged out of it. Outside the mountain, all kinds of skeletons that could control the power of lightning were fighting. And the ones fighting with them were the prodigies of the 10 minor kings. Apart from Chu Tianba, the other prodigies of the 10 minor kings were gathered here, including Lang Huan. After entering the burial ground, they each obtained some opportunities. Then, they also encountered some skeletons that could use the power of lightning. In the end, they gathered here. In that cave, there is very likely a lightning treasure or a great lightning mystique. Long Xiang's eyes were burning. Although it seemed a little inappropriate for burial earth beings to cultivate lightning god arts, it was still a little unsuitable. However, as the prodigies of the 10 minor kings, which one of them wasn't a prodigy? Cultivating the lightning god art wasn't too difficult for them. Plus, the lightning god art was extremely powerful and could be used as a trump card. It's just that these skeletons are too troublesome, Mo Ling said. As he spoke, he would occasionally glance at Lang Xian's delicate body from the corner of his eyes with a fiery gaze. If you keep looking, this princess will dig your eyeballs out. Lang Xian's beautiful face was filled with anger. Even though she was gentle and sweet to Jun Xiaoyao, she was still a woman. However, he didn't treat the others well, especially a shameless snake like Mo Ling. Just looking at her made her feel uncomfortable and gave her goosebumps. If one were to say that Jun Xiaoyao's face was pleasing to the eye, then Jun Xiaoyao's face was a sight to behold. As for Mo Ling, it would be extremely tragic. Ew. It's impossible for that kid to walk out of the burial ground alive anyway. Mo Ling's snake eyes narrowed slightly. Suddenly, a voice came from afar. Oh, is that so? Hearing this voice, Mo Ling's body tensed up. Long Xiang, Jiu Ao, and the other prodigies also turned their gazes. In the distance, Jun Xiaoyao's white robe was whiter than snow. He walked in the air with his hands behind his back. His gaze was indifferent as he scanned the area. Then, his gaze landed on the cave. Is that where the opportunity is? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes showed a hint of interest. Young Master Jun. Lang Xian's face was filled with joy. She twisted her waist and flew up in a flash, landing beside Jun Xiaoyao. Mo Ling and the others' faces were extremely ugly. The opportunity here was probably the biggest opportunity in the outer area of the burial ground. If they continued to go deeper, their lives would be in danger. Now that Jun Xiaoyao had appeared, there was no doubt that he wanted to eat this fat piece of meat alone. He wouldn't even leave a piece of meat for them. Why are you still standing here? Aren't you going to scram? Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Simple and direct. He didn't beat around the bush. Jun Xiaoyao, we found this place first. It doesn't belong to you alone, Long Xiang said in a low voice. So what? If you don't scram, then die. Jun Xiaoyao didn't say anything and directly attacked. A palm print blasted out. It was as if a corner of the sky had collapsed as it suppressed Long Xiang. Jun Xiaoyao, you. Long Xiang didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to be so decisive. He attacked without saying a word. He used a secret technique, and his body expanded. The bone wings on his back flapped, and a white bone armor spread out from his body. It was extremely tough. At the same time, the nether death dragon Qi rolled in front of him and turned into a bone shield. There was a loud bang. 10 billion pounds of divine power poured into the bone shield and instantly shattered it. At the same time, Long Xiang's entire body slammed hard onto the ground. Everyone attacked together, Mo Ling shouted. This time, the 10 minor kings didn't hesitate and quickly attacked. The Sky Prides of the Blood Fiend tribe and the Corpse Refining sect attacked immediately. They each used their own techniques. The Sky Prides of the Blood Fiend tribe took out the Blood Sea again and released endless death chi. The Sky Prides of the Corpse Refining sect took out a coffin. The coffin exploded in the void. A red-haired ancient corpse appeared. The red-haired demonic corpse was given to him by the mighty ones of the Corpse Refining sect, specifically to deal with Jun Xiaoyao in the burial world. The red-haired demonic corpse's strength was almost on par with a true god expert. The 9 Serenities Ao's eyes also shone with a cunning light. It was also looking for an opportunity. Just as the Sky Prides of the 10 minor kings attacked Jun Xiaoyao. In the sky outside the spatial crack, the scene of the battle in the burial ground appeared in the void. They saw the Sky Prides of the 10 minor kings attacking Jun Xiaoyao again. The living beings in the burial ground were extremely nervous. They were afraid that the same thing would happen again. No, even the 9 Serenities AO will attack this time. It's an existence that can compete with Chu Tianba. Yeah, and that red-haired demonic corpse. Its cultivation is almost on par with a true god. Who can stop it? There was a lot of discussion. The ghost-masked burial ground emperor stood alone in the void and watched the scene without saying a word. The battle in the burial ground began. The red-haired demonic corpse rushed forward. It was extremely ferocious and fierce. Its demonic chi filled the sky. Jun Xiaoyao punched the red-haired demonic corpse. Its entire chest caved in, but it didn't disintegrate. Do you think something like last time will happen again? The Sky Prides of the Corpse Refining sect said coldly. His face was extremely pale, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. The red-haired demonic corpse was beyond his control. Even if he forced it now, it would be very harmful to him. The Sky Prides of the Blood Fiend tribe and Mo Ling took the opportunity to attack Jun Xiaoyao while he was busy with the red-haired demonic corpse. Lang Huan didn't attack, but it wasn't that she was watching. She didn't think there was a need for her to do anything. If she helped, it would show that she didn't trust Jun Xiaoyao. When ants work together, they are still ants. Stomping one to death is no different from stomping a group of them to death. Jun Xiaoyao's blood chi surged like an ancient volcano erupting. His hair danced in the wind, and his entire body surged with immortal light. The power of the 160 Zenith Heaven Immortal Bones was finally displayed. At the same time, the supreme bone in his chest was faintly shining with divine light. A terrifying energy was gathering. Jun Xiaoyao was about to kill. Chapter 352. A purple divine light flashed past Jun Xiaoyao's right fist. He was already wearing the Saint King Annihilation Overlord gloves. Coupled with the divine power of 5 billion caddies and the power of the Zenith Heaven Immortal Bone, Jun Xiaoyao's punch seemed to be able to tear apart the void. He punched towards the red-haired fiend corpse. Bang! With a deafening explosion, the chest of the red-haired fiend corpse was penetrated by Jun Xiaoyao's punch. Of course, the red-haired fiend corpse was a half-puppet. As long as it was not destroyed, it could still move. The red-haired fiend corpse's nails were like sharp thorns as it scratched towards Jun Xiaoyao's head. Jun Xiaoyao shook one of his arms and unleashed his divine power, which surged like an ocean. Chila! The entire red-haired fiend corpse was split into two. The Corpse Refinement sect Paragon was completely stunned. He was dumbfounded as though he had lost his soul. The combat strength of the red-haired fiend corpse was close to that of a true god. Although it could not be compared to a true god expert, its physique was indeed close to that of a true god. But now, it was still killed by Jun Xiaoyao with a single punch. However, at the same time that Jun Xiaoyao destroyed the red-haired fiend corpse, the attacks of Long Xiang, Mo Ling, and the blood-malevolent race paragon had already landed. Jun Xiaoyao's expression did not change as a strange aura flowed out. Those extremely powerful moves dissipated into the void. Dermic power immunity, activate. Jun Xiaoyao's gaze was cold as he targeted the Corpse Refinement sect Paragon first. The Corpse Refinement sect Paragon had no fighting spirit in his heart, and turned to leave without any intention of resisting. Most of the combat strength of the corpse refinement sect paragon was in the fiend corpse. He was ordinary and did not have anything special. Jun Xiaoyao grabbed the void, and his dermic powers surged, forming the heavenly god spear. The spear pierced through the corpse refining sect's prodigy. Then, the god of heaven's spear exploded. The corpse refinement sect paragon was instantly smashed into pieces and couldn't be more dead. Outside the burial world, the expressions of the corpse refinement sect experts were extremely dark. However, the shock was not over yet. Jun Xiaoyao turned around and locked onto Mo Ling. Mo Ling's entire body turned cold, as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Jun Xiaoyao's chest glowed, and a blazing light beam shot out. It was the light of tribulation. This was like a punishment from the heavens. Wherever the light passed, everything was annihilated. Heavenly Python swallowing sun technique. Mo Ling let out a wild roar. His entire body was splattered with blood. It was as though he had sacrificed himself to display a terrifying divine ability. It was rumored that the ancestors of the sky-devouring demonic pythons could even swallow and refine the sun in the sky. This superpower was derived from this legend. It was the trump card of the sky-devouring demonic python clan. Once the move was performed, it was as if a huge phantom of a fiendish python had appeared in the void. The python's body was like a mountain ridge that stretched for thousands of miles. The fiendish python opened its mouth and swallowed the light of tribulation. However, before Mo Ling could reveal a smile of success, he was shocked to find that the fiendish python's illusory figure began to tremble like a wave, becoming unstable. Break! As Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, the entire fiendish python's illusory figure collapsed. Once again, black and white light shot out from Jun Xiaoyao's chest. It was the light of reincarnation. No! Mo Ling's eyes popped out as he screamed in horror. In the next moment, the light of reincarnation swept across his body. Mo Ling's body was like a weathered rock, crumbling into dust. Another 10 Minor King's supreme talent had fallen. Damn it! When Long Xiang and the Blood Fiend tribe's supreme talent saw this, their eyes were filled with extreme solemnity and fear. They even vaguely revealed a look of fear. That's right, this group of high and mighty 10 Minor Kings, who considered everyone else beneath them, finally felt fear. For supreme talents of their level, they should not have developed such feelings of fear. However, they were really afraid now. Jun Xiaoyao was a devil. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand. The two Shi ancient Emperor Flame surged out and surrounded the Blood Fiend tribe supreme talent. At the same time, he retracted the Man-Ruler's seal and suppressed Long Xiang. At this juncture, the 9 Serenities AO finally made its move. If it did not make its move, it would be the only one left to face Jun Xiaoyao. The moment the 9 Serenities AO made its move, the energy waves were extremely terrifying. On the 9 tails behind it, there were 9 ferocious beast heads. At this moment, the 9 heads opened their mouths at the same time. 9 rays of purple light shot out, as if they could split heaven and earth. Such power! Lang Huan was slightly shocked when he saw this. However, he was also very confident in Jun Xiaoyao. Although the 9 Serenities AO had launched a sneak attack, Jun Xiaoyao had sensed it. Suddenly, dermic powers surged behind him, and a platinum cloak appeared. Many images of gods appeared on the surface of the cloak, as if the gods were chanting and releasing endless holy light. This was the supreme defensive technique of the divine elephant overpowering divine elephant, the cloak of gods. This technique was evolved from the underworld protection. Its defensive power was even stronger, as if there was a god protecting Jun Xiaoyao. The 9 rays of light released by the 9 Serenities AO landed on the cloak of gods, but they could not penetrate it all. At the same time, the Blood Fiend prodigy let out a heart-wrenching scream and was burned to ashes by the burning Emperor Flame. Long Xiang spat out mouthfuls of blood from the impact. The dragon scales on his body were all shattered. He was in an extremely sorry state. Jun Xiaoyao used his finger as a sword and slashed out with the Immortal Slayer sword art. At the same time, a divine chain of order rushed out from his forehead and turned into a golden short sword. It was the primitive Emperor Dao sword. The power of 2 of the 5 great divine arts when used at the same time was imaginable. Even though Long Xiang had used up all his energy and suppressed his cultivation base, he was still a mantis trying to stop a chariot in front of such an attack. He was overestimating himself. 2 slashes. Long Xiang's chest and head were pierced by 2 rays of sword light. Long Xiang of the Corpse Dragon tribe had fallen. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao turned around and looked at the 9 Serenities AO indifferently. The 9 Serenities AO's hair stood on end, and there was a look of fear in its eyes. It was extremely ferocious and could even compete with Chu Tianba among the 10 minor kings. But now it was afraid. Die! Jun Xiaoyao used the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. His fist light was shocking, and 6 reincarnation vortexes appeared, causing the void to explode and the sky to tremble. The 9 Serenities AO resisted with all its might. Its body was glowing with purple light as it used all kinds of ferocious beasts. It even used the 9 Serenities AO's unique 9 Serenities AO divine art. The purple light was destructive. Unfortunately, if it was a pure-blooded 9 Serenities AO, it might be able to fight Jun Xiaoyao. But this 9 Serenities AO was only a mixed blood. In front of Jun Xiaoyao, it was still unable to resist Jun Xiaoyao's punch and was shattered. The entire land of opportunity fell silent. Other than Jun Xiaoyao, only Lang Huan and the group of skeletons at the entrance of the cave were left. Lang Huan was dumbfounded. Even though she knew that Jun Xiaoyao would win in the end, she did not expect it to be so clean and tidy. Jun Xiaoyao was too ferocious. Lang Huan was wet again. At this moment, outside the burial world, it was completely silent. The entire place seemed to have fallen into winter, and everyone was frozen into statues. Chapter 353. Time and space seemed to have frozen. All the creatures outside the burial ground were speechless, although some of them had already expected it. But when they saw it with their own eyes, they were still shocked. The 10 minor kings of the eternal burial ground. Except for Chu Tianba and Lang Huan, the other 8 had all died at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. And these few were easily killed by Jun Xiaoyao when they were besieged. Humiliating. All of the creatures of the burial earth felt humiliated in their hearts. Only some of the powerhouses of the Shura demon kingdom sighed. Their princess had good taste. Qin Xianer was also impressed. She had never liked any man, but Jun Xiaoyao was the only man she admired. Damn it, damn it! The powerhouses of the Corpse Dragon clan were furious, and the world was roaring. Not only the Corpse Dragon clan, but the powerhouses of the Sky-Devouring Demonic Python clan, the Blood Fiend tribe, the Corpse Refining sect, and other forces were also furious. They couldn't wait to kill Jun Xiaoyao. Is the Grand Ancestor still indifferent? The powerhouses of the Corpse Dragon clan communicated with each other. The powerhouse of the Corpse Dragon clan, the Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor, was also a top powerhouse of the burial ground. He was as famous as the Tianming Burial Emperor. That genius of the Jun family, after all, has that layer of background. A powerhouse of the Corpse Dragon clan said with fear. No matter how strong the Jun family is, can they be stronger than the forces of the Eternal Burial Ground combined? Not to mention, there is a great horror in the depths of the burial ground since ancient times. A creature said unwillingly. The Corpse Dragon clan wasn't the only one who was unwilling. The rest of the powerhouses of the Sky-Devouring Demonic Python clan, the Blood Fiend tribe, and the Corpse Refining sect were also planning something. If Jun Xiaoyao had only killed the geniuses of 1 or 2 families, perhaps no one would dare to touch him because of the Jun family's background. But now, Jun Xiaoyao had almost killed all of the 10 minor kings. That meant that Jun Xiaoyao had offended more than 90% of the forces of the Eternal Burial Ground. This wasn't something that could be easily brushed aside. Other than Lang Huan, only Chu Tianba was still alive. Disciple, you must complete that task. Tianming Xinhuang's eyes were incomparably deep. He had Chu Tianba enter burial realm to search for the living being's reincarnation pool. Naturally, it wasn't just for Chu Tianba's transformation. There was another matter for him to do. If he succeeded, the burial realm would most likely undergo a great change. Outside burial realm, all of the creatures were sighing in admiration, clamoring and discussing. Only the ghost masked female burial emperor was like a cold and aloof statue, standing still from start to finish. Jun Xiaoyao's performance came as a bit of a surprise to her. As for the back of that white-robed figure, it slowly overlapped with a white-robed youth in her illusion, within the burial realm. Compared to the clamor of the outside world, Jun Xiaoyao was calm and composed. He did not panic at all after killing so many 10 Lesser Kings sky prides. It was like slaughtering a few chickens. Even Lang Huan was a little speechless as she spat out. "Young Master Jun, can't you act a little more dignified?" "Why?" Jun Xiaoyao asked back. "Those who died were the treasures of the various immortal forces in the burial realm. Now that they're all dead, you've offended more than 90% of the forces in the burial realm." Lang Huan said, "Even if the entire world is my enemy, I, the Son of God, won't frown, let alone the burial realm." Jun Xiaoyao chuckled, not minding it at all. His ambition was to suppress the entire era, even the past and present. What could the eternal burial realm do to him? "Young Master Jun, don't say any more. I'm going to get wet again." Lang Huan's beautiful legs trembled. Jun Xiaoyao's unintentional domineering aura was enough to intoxicate any woman. Beauties love heroes. This was an unchanging truth. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was no longer something that could be described as a simple hero. He was an invincible, unparalleled legend throughout the ages. All right, let's get rid of these little troubles. Let's see what opportunities there are in the cave. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand and looked at the group of skeletons. Jun Xiaoyao and Lang Huan both made their moves. With Jun Xiaoyao's powers, he was able to wipe out the skeletons before long. However, just as they entered the cave, 2 sage-level skeletons appeared. Jun Xiaoyao took out the god-slaying doll and finished the battle in a few moves. Then, the 2 entered the cave. At a glance, it was filled with boundless lightning energy. It was like a vast ocean. Jun Xiaoyao was fine. After all, he wasn't a burial realm creature. The power of thunder didn't have much effect on him. On the other hand, Lang Huan was still restrained by the thunder, even though some of the death chi had faded from her body. At this moment, her delicate face was pale, and she felt uncomfortable. Jun Xiaoyao didn't say anything. His spiritual power vibrated gently and protected Lang Huan. Lang Huan glanced at Jun Xiaoyao and smiled sweetly. He was domineering to the outside, but attentive to the inside. Although he didn't seem to care, he would still protect her when necessary. Who wouldn't love such a man? Lang Huan felt more and more that her judgment was right. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care. He just did it in passing. At this moment, his attention was all on the thunder runes on the wall. In the entire cave, apart from some treasures, there were only thunder runes carved all over the walls. Each rune was like the orbit of the stars in the sky. It was extremely complicated and required a lot of energy. However, there were a total of 100,000 thunder runes in the cave. Ordinary geniuses would find it difficult to even memorize them, let alone understand them. What mysterious runes! They're too complicated. Lang Huan looked for a while and shook her head slightly. It was almost impossible for her to completely memorize these runes. If she wanted to comprehend them, she didn't know how many years it would take. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had a flash in his eyes. His talent was unparalleled. Even the 18th ancestor side. When he was young, he was definitely not as good as Jun Xiaoyao. Interesting. I didn't expect it to be the Thunder Emperor's mystique. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at it and smiled. He was very satisfied with this reward. The Thunder Emperor's mystique. Lang Huan was surprised. She didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to understand it with a glance. I once read about the Thunder Emperor's deeds in the ancient records. He was a creature of the immortal domain. He was talented and had an unparalleled thunder body. His ambition was higher than the sky, and he wanted to create his own mystique. In the end, he really created the Thunder Emperor's mystique. It's comparable to the true dragon's mystique, the divine phoenix's mystique, and the Qilin's mystique. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. He didn't expect the inheritance of the Thunder Emperor's mystique to be in the burial realm. This kind of mystique was very rare. Even Jun Lingsong only mastered the incomplete Qilin's mystique. The true dragon's mystique and the divine phoenix's mystique were Zulong. They were the mystiques of the 10,000 Phoenix spiritual mountain that definitely wouldn't be leaked out easily. The Thunder Emperor's mystique was comparable to these mystiques. It was clear how powerful it was. Not bad. After mastering the Thunder Emperor's mystique, I have more tricks on my sleeves. I can also deal with the immortal ancient world in the future, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. In the immortal ancient world, monsters from all walks of life would appear and the sleeping freaks would awaken. Although Jun Xiaoyao had an invincible Dao heart, he wasn't just arrogant. With the Thunder Emperor's mystique, his strength would obviously soar again. However, when Lang Huan heard this, she asked in a daze, "Young Master Jun, don't tell me you're going to sit in this cave for a few years to comprehend." Chapter 354. Meditate for a few years? Jun Xiaoyao laughed. Lang Huan was so naive that it was cute. Didn't she know that there were creatures in this world that were known as cheats? Unfortunately, Jun Xiaoyao was one of the cheats. Jun Xiaoyao didn't answer. Instead, he sat down and began meditating. "Young Master Jun, are you really going to stay here for a few years? I don't want that. Also, there isn't even a comfortable bed in this cave. It's not convenient to have sex." Jun Xiaoyao ignored Lang Huan's teasing and began meditating. The lightning runes on the cave walls seemed to peel off and flash before his eyes. It was difficult for ordinary people to remember a single rune. However, Jun Xiaoyao had been using the chaotic divinity grindstone visualization method to temper his soul since he was young. His soul power was far superior to other prodigies of the same level. Not to mention, he had 3 lives of primordial spirits. The consumption of soul power was almost negligible. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao immersed in meditation, Lang Huan pursed her lips. She didn't disturb him and sat down to meditate. Of course, wanting to comprehend a great divine ability was absolutely not such a simple matter. Even some monstrous prodigies couldn't fully comprehend it without a few years. Lang Huan didn't expect to fully comprehend it. She could only try her best to understand it. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was meditating on the Lightning Emperor's grand technique, Chu Tianba continued to venture deeper into the burial realm. Chu Tianba didn't care about the opportunities along the way. The only thing he needed to do now was to find the pool of reincarnation. The pool of reincarnation is near the depths of the burial realm. It's difficult to reach it with my own strength. Chu Tianba's eyes flashed. He raised his hand, and a pitch-black bell appeared, protecting his body as he plunged into the burial realm. The dangers along the way couldn't stop Chu Tianba. The pitch-black bell destroyed all obstacles in front of him. That looks like the soul-reaping bell of the Nether King Palace. Chu Tianba's image was projected to the outside world. When they saw the pitch-black bell, all of the burial earth creatures were astonished. They didn't expect His Majesty Nether King to hand this quasi-emperor weapon to Chu Tianba. Moreover, Chu Tianba didn't seem to be interested in the opportunities in the outer regions of Burial Realm. He went straight into the depths of Burial Realm. Could it be that Chu Tianba wants to find the legendary pool of samsara in the Burial Realm's myriad spirits graveyard? To think that the Underworld King Hall would have such a plan. However, that place is extremely dangerous. Even with a quasi-emperor weapon protecting them, they might die if they aren't careful. Wealth comes from danger. However, I have heard that there seems to be a tomb keeper in the depths of the myriad spirit graveyard. It could be said that Chu Tianba's actions had completely exceeded everyone's expectations. Furthermore, it was clear that this wasn't Chu Tianba's doing alone. It was the King of Hell's palace that was plotting behind the scenes. Your goal, could it be? The ghost-masked buried emperor looked at Tian Ming, buried emperor, with a deep gaze. Tian Ming, burial emperor, laughed, but didn't say anything. Burial realm had been sealed for so long. It was time for it to see the light of day again. just as Chu Tianba was entering the depths of burial realm. In the cave, Jun Xiaoyao was still comprehending. It had already been a day since he started comprehending the Tao. At a certain moment, Jun Xiaoyao opened his eyes. There was a flash of lightning in his eyes. He got up and sighed slightly. Lang Huan, who was beside him, also opened her beautiful eyes when she heard something. She didn't gain much either. The Lightning Emperor's great superpower was too complicated. It wasn't something that could be memorized in a day or two. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's expression, Lang Huan comforted him. Young Master Jun, don't be discouraged. It's almost impossible to memorize the Lightning Emperor's great superpower, let alone comprehend it. Indeed, I have underestimated the complexity of the Lightning Emperor's great superpower, Jun Xiaoyao said truthfully. However, with young Master Jun's talent, you might gain something if you stay for a month or two, Lang Huan said. Jun Xiaoyao slowly raised his hand. There was lightning between his 5 fingers. Then it condensed into miniature stars. Beside Jun Xiaoyao, there were also stars formed by lightning, bobbing up and down. Lang Huan. Jun Xiaoyao's fingers moved. The lightning stars between his fingers burst out. Lightning spread, exploding the void. He flipped his palm again. The lightning gathered in his palm and turned into a blazing lightning, swallowing and spitting out terrifying lightning energy. Young Master Jun. Lang Huan was a little confused. This Lightning Emperor's great superpower is indeed complicated. It took me a day, but I still couldn't comprehend it completely. I only understood part of the moves. Jun Xiaoyao played with the lightning in his palm and said calmly. Hearing this, Lang Huan was speechless. She was doubting life. Could it be that I have comprehended a fake superpower? Lang Huan looked at the lightning runes on the wall again. She found that it was still as complicated as before. It seemed that there was nothing wrong with her eyes. It was Jun Xiaoyao who was too monstrous. In a day, not only did Jun Xiaoyao completely memorize the Lightning Emperor's great superpower, but he also comprehended part of the moves. This could no longer be described as monstrous. He was simply a monster. Jun Xiaoyao ignored the shocked Lang Huan. He had already memorized the Lightning Emperor's great superpower, and its power did not disappoint him. When Jun Xiaoyao completely comprehended it, the Lightning Emperor's great superpower would undoubtedly be another trump card. As for now, Jun Xiaoyao could not waste time on comprehending the superpower. His main purpose in coming to the burial ground was not completed yet. I didn't see any traces of the 9 Wonders reincarnation immortal grass in the periphery of the burial ground. It seems that it is in the depths of the burial ground, Jun Xiaoyao said. Young Master Jun, you can't enter the depths of the burial ground casually. Even if you're a saint or above, there is a risk of dying if you are not careful. Lang Huan's expression changed. She did not expect Jun Xiaoyao to want to go deeper into the burial ground. That was no different from courting death. I have the strength to protect myself. No need to worry. You stay here and continue comprehending then, Jun Xiaoyao said. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's attitude being so resolute, Lang Huan did not persuade anymore either. She just urged Jun Xiaoyao to be careful. Jun Xiaoyao nodded and immediately left. The further one went into the depths of the burial ground, the more dangerous it was indeed. For example, a random mud pit on the ground might hide a crisis that was sufficient to make a saint perish. Although Jun Xiaoyao was monstrous, it was also not possible to be strong enough to be able to go deep into the burial ground alone. He took out a simple and unadorned armor, covered in crack patterns, giving off an ancient aura of vicissitudes of life. This ancient armor was bestowed to Jun Xiaoyao by Jiang Daoxu to protect himself. It sought advantages and avoided disadvantages, and nothing was taboo. All kinds of incomplete killing formations, curses left behind, were all isolated by this ancient armor, unable to bring the slightest bit of harm to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao also went deep into the burial ground at an extremely fast speed, and the deeper he went, the more Jun Xiaoyao had an inexplicable feeling. It was a vague sense of familiarity. Finally, a large ancient tomb appeared in front of Jun Xiaoyao's vision. All kinds of corpses and tombstones were scattered everywhere, as if it was the final resting place of all living beings. He had finally arrived at the all-spirits graveyard. And it was also at this moment that the system's notification finally sounded in Jun Xiaoyao's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have arrived at the sign-in location. Do you wish to sign in? Sign in. Chapter 355. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 7-star reward, 7 seals. As the system's voice fell, a mysterious flow of information poured into Jun Xiaoyao's mind. 7-star reward. Jun Xiaoyao was also slightly shocked. A 7-star reward was already considered very high. So far, the highest reward he had received was only an 8-star reward. As for 9-star and 10-star rewards, Jun Xiaoyao hadn't signed in yet. He was also looking forward to what the 9-star and 10-star rewards would be in the future. However, a 7-star reward was already considered very high. Then, Jun Xiaoyao began to check his sign-in reward. After digesting it, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with light. The 7 seals of the immortal forbidding seal was a rare sealing technique. The 7 seals not only had a powerful sealing ability, but could also combine the power of heaven and earth to set up array patterns, erupting 10 or 100 times the power. This kind of terrifying sealing technique was as rare as the mana immunity from before. The 7 seals have a total of 7 seals. If all 7 seals are used at the same time, it is said that even immortals can be sealed. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. The 7 seals were indeed worthy of being a 7-star reward. Because it was a reward from signing in, Jun Xiaoyao didn't need to comprehend it and could directly use it. However, with his current realm and ability, it was impossible for him to directly use the complete 7 seals. However, even if it was only 1 or 2 seals, it was still considered a powerful technique. After all, the 7 seals didn't only have the ability to seal, but also a powerful offensive and suppressive power. First, there was the Thunder Emperor's great mystical power, then there was the 7 seals. This trip was not in vain. Jun Xiaoyao was satisfied. The increase in his trump cards would also be very helpful for the future struggle for hegemony in the immortal ancient world. Right now, Jun Xiaoyao didn't carefully explore the 7 seals. Instead, he swept his gaze towards the myriad spirits graveyard. Before entering, Jun Xiaoyao had also learned some information about the burial realm. He knew that there was a myriad spirits graveyard in the depths of the burial realm. Among them, there was a pool of reincarnation. Jun Xiaoyao speculated that the 9 Wonders reincarnation immortal grass might grow near the reincarnation pool. As far as the eye could see, the entire all-spirits graveyard was vast and boundless, with no end in sight. All kinds of skeletons and tombstones were scattered all over the place. Jun Xiaoyao could also sense a faint sealing power. This all-spirits graveyard seemed to be sealed just like the entire burial realm. Jun Xiaoyao stepped into the all-spirits graveyard. All kinds of incomplete killing formations and ancient curses were activated. Moreover, even a puddle of mud could kill a Saint King expert. Jun Xiaoyao used the ancient armor given to him by Jiang Daoxiu to protect himself. Although the ancient armor was simple and unadorned and full of cracks, the aura it exuded helped Jun Xiaoyao block off all killing intent. Jun Xiaoyao was able to stroll leisurely and calmly. And just as Jun Xiaoyao entered the all-spirits graveyard, in the depths of the 10,000 spirits graveyard, in an ancient cave, there was a clay statue-like figure that seemed to have been sitting cross-legged for an eternity. This aura is an incomparably hoarse and deep voice came from the clay, statue-like figure. At the same time, outside the burial realm, looking at the figure walking leisurely and calmly in the all-spirits graveyard, all the creatures in the burial realm were speechless. As expected of a genius with a strong background, just that ancient armor alone is enough to make many people in the burial realm unable to do anything to him. Then why didn't the Jun family's genius use it when he fought against the 10 young kings? Isn't that obvious? Do you need to use a knife to kill an ant? That's true. No wonder the Jun family's genius always looks so calm. It's because he's not afraid of anyone at all. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's image projected in the sky, all the creatures present were discussing. Many of the creatures in the burial realm felt helpless. In terms of talent and cultivation, they were no match for Jun Xiaoyao. In terms of background and power, they were no match for Jun Xiaoyao. It was no wonder that Jun Xiaoyao was so arrogant and condescending in the eyes of these creatures in the burial realm. Thinking about it from another perspective, standing in the same position, they would only be more arrogant and condescending. Just as the creatures were discussing intensely, a creature in the burial realm suddenly pointed at the image and shouted, "They've met! The Jun family's genius and Chu Tianba have met." Following the exclamation, everyone's eyes were firmly fixed on the light screen in the sky. Inside the all-spirits graveyard, there was an incomparably vast lake. The water in the entire lake appeared to be chaotic, as if it had cut off the galaxy in the sky and merged into it. And in this lake, all kinds of illusions were produced. All living beings reincarnated. All living things changed. The sun and the moon changed. The four seasons withered and flourished. It was as if the lake had manifested the appearance of all living beings. It was the reincarnation pool of living beings. And in the reincarnation pool of living beings, a figure was sitting cross-legged. It was Chu Tianba. Around his body, endless energy surged into it. The cracks on Chu Tianba's body were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. It wouldn't take long for his body to be repaired. When my body is completely repaired, the first thing I'll do is find the Jun family's sacred body. Chu Tianba whispered coldly. "Oh, is that so? Then there's no need. I'm already here." A faint voice sounded, and Jun Xiaoyao appeared. "You?" Chu Tianba's eyes flashed with a dark light. Jun Xiaoyao had his hands behind his back. His expression was relaxed, as if he was strolling in his own backyard, not at all like he was in a dangerous place like the 10,000 spirits graveyard. "You want to rely on the reincarnation pool of living beings to restore your body. That's a good idea." Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were as calm as water. "What? You want to stop me?" Chu Tianba said coldly. "What do you think?" Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly, not caring at all. If you make a move, then I'm afraid this thing will be gone." Chu Tianba sneered and took out a stalk of grass that emitted a seven-colored brilliance. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes narrowed slightly. "It's the Nine Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass. It seems like you know why I came to the burial world." Jun Xiaoyao's expression returned to normal. If the Nether King Palace wants to find out, then naturally I can find out." Chu Tianba said, "If you want to use this to threaten me, then you're gravely mistaken. If you destroy this stalk of grass, then this Son of God will bury the entire Nether King Palace with you." Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently, but the murderous intent stirred the heavens and earth. "Don't worry. I, Chu Tianba, only want to compete with you once in my perfect state. Once my tyrant body recovers, you can naturally obtain the Nine Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass if you defeat me." Chu Tianba said. The tyrant body of the heavens had its own dignity. Chu Tianba didn't want to use the Nine Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass to force Jun Xiaoyao to admit defeat. Instead, he wanted to wait until his dominating body had transformed before killing Jun Xiaoyao in a fair and square manner. Otherwise, a victory obtained through despicable means would be an insult to the tyrant body of the heavens. Believe me, when the time comes, you will only feel more despair. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes had a trace of faint pity. In front of a peerless genius like Jun Xiaoyao, any struggles and transformations would be futile. It would only cause Chu Tianba to sink deeper into despair. Unfortunately, Chu Tianba didn't seem to realize it. Chapter 356. It seems that you are too confident in yourself. In the past, the tyrant body has defeated the saint body many times. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, Chu Tianba snorted. If he was an incomplete tyrant body, he might have a chance against Jun Xiaoyao. But if Chu Tianba's physique was completely transformed, then he was confident that he could suppress Jun Xiaoyao. This was the innate arrogance and confidence of the tyrant body. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and didn't say anything. An ant thought that after transforming, he would become a true dragon. But in the eyes of the stronger ones, he was just an ant that had turned into an earthworm. What was the difference? Since you were so confident, then this son of God will give you this opportunity. Jun Xiaoyao wasn't in a hurry. He suddenly wanted to see Chu Tianba's expression of despair when he realized that he was still a weakling after transforming. Well, Jun Xiaoyao was definitely not some kind of devil. He was just kind enough to fulfill the wish of a person who was about to die. They all say that the tyrant body is arrogant, but in the end, there is an even more arrogant saint body. Chu Tianba coldly looked at Jun Xiaoyao. He didn't say anything else and began to transform through the pool of reincarnation. Jun Xiaoyao just stood there calmly. He had nothing to do, so he also looked at the pool of reincarnation. After dealing with Chu Tianba and obtaining the 9 Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass, there is no need to rush to leave. I will use this pool to transform first. Jun Xiaoyao could sense that the pool of reincarnation was extraordinary. It contained a dense mystic power of all living beings, as if all the essence of the living beings in the all-spirits graveyard had gathered in this pool of water. What kind of existence is the burial realm? Who established it? What is their purpose? Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but think. He also understood that this graveyard wasn't the deepest place in the burial realm. In the deepest part, there was a terrifying existence. The all-spirits graveyard was located in the center of the entire burial realm. At most, it was located in the depths of the center. In fact, Jun Xiaoyao could faintly sense that there were many terrifying auras hidden in the depths of burial world. That was probably where the greatest foundation of the entire eternal burial ground lay. As for those buried emperors of the 10 regions of burial earth, they were merely experts on the surface. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly and didn't think too much about it. When I have the strength, not only the 9 heavens, 10 earths, but also the eternal burial ground, the forbidden zone, and even the legendary alien realm, I will personally go there. Jun Xiaoyao set a goal in his heart. While Jun Xiaoyao was waiting, outside the burial realm, there was an uproar. Voices of discussion rose in all directions. In the beginning, he saw Jun Xiaoyao and Chu Tianba meet. Everyone thought that Jun Xiaoyao would make a move to stop Chu Tianba from recovering his tyrant body. However, the turn of events after that was out of everyone's expectations. The Jun family son of God didn't make a move. Oh my, this doesn't fit his style. Didn't you see that Chu Tianba took out a stalk of grass? It looks like the 9 Wonder Reincarnation Immortal Grass. It only grows beside the living reincarnation pool. He must be using it as a threat. Sai, this is the will of the heavens. It wants Chu Tianba to redeem our burial ground's reputation. That's right. If Chu Tianba's heavenly tyrant body hasn't recovered, it'll be difficult for him to go up against the Jun family son of God. Seeing this scene, many of the burial ground creatures breathed a sigh of relief. Other than Lang Huan, only Chu Tianba was left among the 10 minor kings of burial ground. If Chu Tianba were to be defeated by Jun Xiaoyao as well, it would be a huge blow to the spirits of the burial grounds. The expressions of the powerhouses of the king of Hell's palace also relaxed. What they were most worried about was that Jun Xiaoyao would stop Chu Tianba from completing his tyrant body transformation. Now, it seemed that the dust had settled. Tianming Burial Emperor looked at the void and seemed to have sensed something. He smiled faintly and said, "Don't worry. My disciple will avenge your clan's prodigy." As soon as these words were spoken, all of the burial earth beings were shocked. Could it be that the ancestors of the corpse dragon clan and the sky-devouring demonic python clan had arrived? Thinking of this, the creatures felt their scalps go numb. If it weren't for the ghost-masked burial emperor supporting Jun Xiaoyao, he would be in danger. Inside the burial ground, beside the living reincarnation pool, Chu Tianba's body was enveloped by a mysterious force. It was the purest energy of all living beings. It seemed to be cleansing Chu Tianba's body, causing the cracks on his body to begin to heal. At the same time, Chu Tianba's aura was also rising steadily as his body healed. Finally, when the last crack on Chu Tianba's body was healed, his cultivation had broken through the complete divine fire realm and reached the empty God realm. Among the younger generation, Chu Tianba's cultivation was enough to sweep through all. Rumble. The sound of bones cracking came from Chu Tianba's body. It was as if huge stars were colliding with each other. His bronze-colored muscles had become flawless. Many mysterious divine runes flowed on the surface of his skin. These were the divine runes that belonged to the overlord body. They contained the supreme power of inheritance. At this moment, Chu Tianba's aura was so strong that it was enough to make the younger generation lose their will to fight. Even Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyelids slightly. He was finally interested. Success. I finally succeeded. Although I can't reach the level of perfection before, it's enough. Feeling the perfect transformation of his body, Chu Tianba's eyes shone brightly. This feeling of power returning, of being perfect and flawless, was simply too wonderful. And this feeling made Chu Tianba's confidence soar. So what if Jun Xiaoyao had defeated all the young kings before? The current Chu Tianba could do it easily. Interesting. Since I entered the burial ground, there's finally an opponent that can make me interested. Jun Xiaoyao's handsome face was as calm as water. Even if Chu Tianba's physical body had recovered, even if his cultivation had reached the void god realm, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was still as impassive as ever. Still pretending to be calm? I'm impressed. Chu Tianba sneered. He took out the Nine Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass and threw it beside the reincarnation pool. If you beat me, you'll naturally get the Nine Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass. But now, it seems like you won't have that chance. Chu Tianba's eyes were filled with contempt. You should say that to yourself. Jun Xiaoyao also released his own aura, although it was the aura of the complete divine fire realm. However, his aura was no weaker than Chu Tianba, who was at the empty god realm. Jun Xiaoyao had the divine elephant overpowering force, the sacred body of the ancients, and the immortal bone of the great all-embracing heaven. The three forces were activated at the same time. It was like a sleeping, true dragon had awakened. A monstrous aura surged. Jun Xiaoyao was about to get serious. Sensing this aura, even someone as strong as Chu Tianba couldn't help but reveal a trace of surprise. Jun Xiaoyao's aura made him feel a trace of danger. Impossible. The complete divine fire realm is only a line away from the void god realm, but the difference is like heaven and earth. Moreover, although he has the sacred body of the ancients, I also have the tyrant body of the heavens. I'm not weaker than him in the same realm, let alone one realm higher. Chu Tianba thought to himself. Jun family's sacred body, come and fight. Chu Tianba attacked. He wanted to prove that the tyrant body was the strongest body in history. Chapter 357. Chu Tianba's aura was different from the other 10 minor kings. The ripples of his attack were much stronger than Long Xiang, Mo Ling, and even the 9 Serenities AO. His fist smashed out like an expanse of stars smashing down, and it erupted with a boundless wave of energy. Although the living beings outside Burial Realm couldn't personally experience these fluctuations of power, they could still see them. Chu Tianba's strength was much stronger after his transformation. He's so strong. Even through the light screen, I feel like I'm suffocating. Yeah, the son of God of the Jun family has finally met his match. The burial ground finally has a genius who can compete with him. Countless voices were heard from all directions. Obviously, this battle was very eye-catching and even related to the reputation of the eternal burial ground. If Jun Xiaoyao were to emerge victorious in this battle, if word got out, wouldn't it mean that the son of God of the Jun family alone defeated all the young geniuses of the eternal burial ground? How would the burial ground feel then? However, after seeing Chu Tianba's power, the creatures of the burial ground were relieved. At the reincarnation pool, the battle between the holy physique and the tyrant physique finally began. Chu Tianba punched out, using the killing fist of the way of the monarch. The fist flew across the sky, and the fist light illuminated the sky. Killing intent swept out like a tide. This fist technique was very powerful. Sometimes, even without the fist landing, the killing intent was enough to shatter one's mind. Feeling that he was locked on by the killing intent, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. He also punched out, facing Chu Tianba head-on. Stupid. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao attack, Chu Tianba snorted coldly. He was in the void god realm, which was enough to completely suppress Jun Xiaoyao. Not only did Jun Xiaoyao not avoid the attack, but he also faced it head-on. If this wasn't stupid, then what was? Jun Xiaoyao didn't say a word. The power of the sacred body of the ancients combined with the divine elephant overpowering divine elephant strength of 10 billion pounds. That power caused the void to surge and the world to shake. Boom! The two fists collided. In an instant, magical power rippled in all directions, causing the earth to crack and the clouds to change color. With this punch, Chu Tianba's expression immediately changed. The fist that he had imagined did not appear. Chu Tianba only felt an incomparably terrifying divine power coming from Jun Xiaoyao's fist. The heavenly tyrant body was also known for its physical strength. It could kill true dragons and defeat godly phoenixes. But at that moment, Chu Tianba's body shook violently as he was forced back. Blood splattered from his fist. Chu Tianba was knocked back and injured. With just a single move, all of the burial earth creatures outside Burial World were left speechless. They even rubbed their eyes, wondering if they were hallucinating. This was the transformed Chu Tianba, not the crippled state from before. However, he was still pushed back by Jun Xiaoyao. Shocking. Unparalleled shock. Jun Xiaoyao's performance had overturned their worldview. A divine fire realm cultivator repelled a nihility god realm cultivator. This was simply unbelievable. Young Master Jun is actually this strong? Qin Xiener covered her red lips with her jade-like hands as her beautiful eyes widened. The smiles on the faces of the Nether King Palace's experts froze. Tianming Burial Emperor was expressionless. One could imagine that Jun Xiaoyao's performance caused all of the Burial Earth creatures to feel uneasy. Inside Burial World, Chu Tianba was pushed back. A trace of shock flashed across his eyes. Jun Xiaoyao also revealed a look of surprise. You're actually only slightly injured. As expected of the heavenly tyrant body, you're quite something. Jun Xiaoyao was indeed surprised. Even some peerless geniuses would at least have their arms shattered when facing his punch. Chu Tianba was only injured. It was already considered very good. The heavenly tyrant body was indeed worthy of its reputation. As for Chu Tianba, his mind was filled with question marks. Shouldn't I be the one saying this? Why did it feel like Jun Xiaoyao was the one with a higher cultivation level and was giving him pointers? I don't believe it. Chu Tianba attacked again. The blood in his body shook. After the baptism of the reincarnation pool, his death aura had turned into vitality once again. As his blood surged, the wound on his right hand quickly healed. It was obvious that the heavenly tyrant body's recovery ability was not inferior to the sacred body of the ancients. Jun Xiaoyao also attacked again. Ancient tablet sky, splitting palm. Chu Tianba once again used another powerful divine ability. He turned his fist into a palm and struck out. The shadow of an ancient tablet seemed to appear, shattering the sky. Jun Xiaoyao formed the seal of the human ruler with one hand and the army control formula with the other. The two powerful techniques collided with Chu Tianba. Jun Xiaoyao's white robe fluttered. His divine light was peerless. He was like an immortal god, suppressing everything. Chu Tian's domineering aura was boundless. He was like a god of war, suppressing the world. Both of them had great power and boldness. At this moment, the aftermath of their battle was enough to crush ordinary geniuses. Boom, boom, boom. The two's techniques collided. The ripples shook. Many tombstones around them were shattered and dust flew up. After a few more exchanges, Chu Tianba was forced back again. He coughed up blood. How is this possible? Your sacred body. Chu Tianba's eyes were no longer calm. He could feel that Jun Xiaoyao's sacred body of the ancients was not restrained by the heavenly path shackles. But how was this possible? Even if the Jun family behind him had piled countless resources on Jun Xiaoyao, it was impossible to completely break his shackles. The heavenly path shackles were a kind of restrictive rule that prevented the sacred body of the ancients from being too powerful. And now, Jun Xiaoyao's performance did not seem to be restricted at all. Oh, did you sense it? Seeing the shock in Chu Tianba's eyes, Jun Xiaoyao's lips curved slightly. That's impossible. You must have cultivated some special technique. Chu Tianba shook his head. He would never believe such a ridiculous thing. Chu Tianba's eyes shone with a cold light. He first used a defensive spell. An aura of desolation flowed on the surface of his body. Finally, it condensed into an earthy yellow armor. It was the Great Baron Godly Armor Chi art. The armor formed by the Great Baron Godly Armor Chi art was difficult to penetrate in the same level, let alone Jun Xiaoyao, who was one level lower. Then, Chu Tianba made another move. This time, he used a powerful move. 7 styles of adjudication. Chu Tianba rotated his palms. All kinds of saber energy, sword energy, and ancient magical seals appeared. It was a powerful move. It was said that when the 7 styles were used, it could judge all living things. Jun Xiaoyao did not underestimate his opponent. He condensed the Blue Sky Ancestral Dragon Armor and the God Legion Cloak, a defensive technique from the Divine Elephant Overpowering Force. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao, with the dragon armor and the cloak fluttering, seemed to have transformed from a transcendent immortal into an immortal god of war. Chu Tianba, I, the son of God, will let you know what true despair is. Jun Xiaoyao looked down on him like a god looking down on an ant. So what if Chu Tianba had transformed into the tyrant body of the heavens? He still did not care. Jun Xiaoyao stretched out his palm. Lightning flashed between his fingers and intertwined with an electric net. The great divine ability of the Thunder Emperor was used. Chapter 358. Jun Xiaoyao had yet to fully comprehend the Thunder Emperor's grand theurgy. However, Jun Xiaoyao was able to fully display some of its moves. For example, this move was the Thunderstar. The power of thunder surged in Jun Xiaoyao's palm. Around him, it condensed into shining stars. Every star contained the explosive power of thunder and lightning of the purest yang. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao was like a divine king surrounded by stars. He had the power to suppress everything. All of the lightning stars pressed down on Chu Tianba. This is a grand theurgy. Chu Tianba's eyes also showed a hint of seriousness. He used the 7 styles of judgment to collide with Jun Xiaoyao's Thunder Emperor's grand theurgy. Ferocious thunderbolts and waves of magic power spread out. Jun Xiaoyao was like the Thunder Emperor. Billions of lightning bolts shot out with every move. Chu Tianba was like an unyielding god of war. His moves were fierce. The two of them were like meteors hitting Earth. They collided and confronted each other, bursting into endless sparks. This kind of battle was extremely shocking. All the creatures outside the burial realm were stunned. It didn't look like a battle between the younger generation at all. It looked more like a clash between the older generation. Boom! With a loud bang, Chu Tianba was once again blasted back. Although he was in the Void God realm, his physical strength and magical power were far inferior to Jun Xiaoyao's. Jun Xiaoyao's divine strength of 10 billion pounds had reached a certain limit. Even Chu Tianba, who had the tyrant body of the heavens, was far inferior. Your turtle shell is quite hard, but it still can't protect you. Jun Xiaoyao's bone of supremacy emitted a blazing brilliance in his chest. A vigorous and blazing light of tribulation blasted toward Chu Tianba. Damn it! Chu Tianba's expression was cold. If Jun Xiaoyao only had the sacred body of the ancients, Chu Tianba wouldn't be so passive. After all, the two physiques had their own advantages and disadvantages since ancient times. No one could completely suppress the other. But most importantly, Jun Xiaoyao didn't only have the sacred body of the ancients. He still had the bone of supremacy. Among the 3,000 body types, the bones of supremacy ranked in the top 30. It was not much weaker than the sacred body of the ancients and the tyrant body of the heavens. With the two supreme physiques stacked together, Chu Tianba's advantage in cultivation realm was already completely negated. Rumble. The light of calamity poured down on Chu Tianba's body without reservation. The prodigious Wild's god armor he had created was now riddled with cracks, and in the end, shattered. Chu Tianba spat out another mouthful of blood. What did it mean to be completely crushed? This was a complete suppression. Jun Xiaoyao didn't even have a speck of dust on his body, let alone being injured. Chu Tianba, on the other hand, was beaten to the point where he was forced to retreat again and again. The difference between the two was clear at a glance. No, this is impossible. How can my complete tyrant body be weaker than yours? Chu Tianba shook his head, unable to accept this result. If he was still an incomplete tyrant body, it would be excusable if he lost to Jun Xiaoyao. But the problem was that his tyrant body had been restored. Even if it couldn't be restored to the perfect level of his previous life, it was still flawless enough. But now, he was still being suppressed by Jun Xiaoyao. It was no wonder that Chu Tianba was doubting his life. Looking at Chu Tianba's somewhat unacceptable expression, Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly and said, "I told you before that I would make you feel even more despair, but you didn't believe me. Now do you understand the difference between us? Tyrant body? You're just trash." Jun Xiaoyao's merciless words made Chu Tianba's face turn red, and he was extremely furious. How could the arrogant tyrant body endure such humiliation? Impudent, I haven't lost yet. Chu Tianba's blood and qi surged, and the divine marks on his body began to light up. Those were the divine marks that belonged to the tyrant body, and they contained the supreme secret power of the tyrant body of the heavens. Chu Tianba punched out with his right fist, and his entire arm was lit up by the divine marks, and it was incomparably brilliant. At the same time, a terrifying wave of mana that could shatter the heavens spread out. This was the tyrant body of the heavens lineage, the tyrant fist. Once the tyrant fist was unleashed, the 8 barons would submit. In historical records, there was a rumor that the tyrant body of the heavens defeated the sacred body of the ancients with a single tyrant fist. Now, the tyrant fist reappeared, and its power was just as shocking. Jun Xiaoyao, taste the power of my tyrant fist. Chu Tianba roared, and his black hair danced in the wind. His aura surged to the extreme, and he punched out, bringing with it endless waves of magical power. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes narrowed slightly. This move was a little interesting. Jun Xiaoyao didn't dodge, but instead used the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. Using a fist to fight, a fist technique. 6 reincarnation vortexes accompanied Jun Xiaoyao's fist, as if they could pull people into endless reincarnation. The 6 paths of reincarnation fist was a supreme fist technique, and it wasn't any weaker than the tyrant body of the heavens tyrant fist. The 2 fists collided, and the sound of bones cracking could be clearly heard. The fist that contained the power of reincarnation pressed down, and the muscles and bones of Chu Tianba's entire right arm were shattered. Cracks appeared, and blood splattered, glowing with a faint purple light. Chu Tianba couldn't help but let out a roar. His entire right arm was severely injured, and, at the same time, his entire body was being crushed and eroded by the power of reincarnation, and he kept spitting out blood. Jun Xiaoyao stepped out again, and stepped on Chu Tianba's body. 10 billion pounds of divine power burst out, and Chu Tianba coughed out blood again, mixed with broken organs. His entire body was like a cannonball, and he crashed to the ground with a loud bang, kicking up dust. Jun Xiaoyao, in an extremely aggressive manner, had once again suppressed Chu Tianba. Outside the entire burial ground, all the creatures who saw this scene were shocked and dumbfounded. The cultivators of Pluto Palace were even more dumbfounded. At this point, Chu Tianba had almost used all his strength, and yet he was still suppressed by Jun Xiaoyao. Who would dare to believe this? Tianming Burial Emperor's face finally turned gloomy. Will the result be the opposite of what we expected? Some of the creatures of Burial Ground looked at each other and saw the uneasiness in each other's eyes. Will the prodigy of Burial Ground really be beaten to the ground by an outsider? Beside the reincarnation pool, Chu Tianba struggled to get up, and his bones cracked. Blood, qi, surged in his body, and he was recovering from his injuries. One had to admit, that the tyrant body of the heavens was really strong, and it hadn't collapsed even now. What a good punching bag. You should be proud that you're able to last until now, Jun Xiaoyao said truthfully. He wasn't being sarcastic, but rather, he was praising. After all, if it were any other prodigy, even the dragon race's prodigy, under Jun Xiaoyao's attacks, their body would have collapsed. Chu Tianba was only severely injured, and that was already very rare. Jun Xiaoyao, don't insult me. Perhaps you've forgotten that we, the tyrant body, still have a final trump card. In Chu Tianba's eyes, there was a kind of resolute madness burning. Could it be? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Chapter 359. For example, the sacred body of the ancients had 6 visions. The hegemon body of the heavens also had its own trump card, which was the 9 godly forms. If the sacred body of the ancients awakened all 6 visions, it could form the 6 paths of reincarnation and defeat all enemies in the world. As for the hegemon body of the heavens, if all 9 godly forms appeared at the same time, it could also intimidate and subdue the world. At this moment, Chu Tianba's blood surged as he burned his hegemon body bloodline. He was going to make a last stand. Chu Tianba stomped on the ground with one foot, and his body rose into the air. Behind him, huge waves surged into the sky, sweeping out. It was as if there was a Kuan fish that rose into the air with him. Then, the Kuan fish turned into a giant punk. Its wings were like clouds in the sky, and its aura shook the heavens for thousands of miles. It was one of the 9 godly forms of the hegemon body, the Kuan Peng. Chu Tianba, who had used the trump card of the hegemon body, had a ferocious aura. He was like a cannonball, charging straight at Jun Xiaoyao. It could be said that this move shocked everyone. Outside the burial realm, all the creatures were extremely excited, looking forward to Chu Tianba's counterattack. In the face of Chu Tianba's move, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. If that's the case, then I will also use my sacred body vision to fight you. Jun Xiaoyao also stomped on the void with one foot, and a brilliant light suddenly rose around him. Illusory figures of the saints appeared in the void. In the end, there were 10,000 shadows surrounding Jun Xiaoyao, making Jun Xiaoyao look like an immortal. It was the pilgrimage of the 10,000 saints. A terrifying pressure poured down. As soon as the pilgrimage of the 10,000 saints was used, Chu Tianba's power was almost suppressed by more than 30%. But Chu Tianba was not afraid. He still let out a long roar. The Kuan Peng was unafraid of anything and collided with Jun Xiaoyao's sacred body vision. Kaboom! It was as if countless stars were shattering. Chu Tianba's entire body seemed to have turned into a Kuan Peng, shattering the shadows of the saints. The 9 godly forms of the hegemon body were indeed worthy of their reputation. The Kuan Peng alone was enough to kill most geniuses. But to Jun Xiaoyao, it was still not enough. While Jun Xiaoyao was suppressing Chu Tianba with the reverence of 10,000 saints, he struck out with his palm again, intertwining with the power of lightning. Dark clouds gathered in the sky, and thunder rumbled like dragons, striking down on Chu Tianba. This was the manifestation of one of the Thunder Emperor's great divine abilities, the thunder of heavenly punishment. The thunder of heavenly punishment crashed down on Chu Tianba. Chu Tianba raised his hand and swept out like the wings of a giant rock, setting off waves of spiritual energy. Rumbling sounds echoed in all directions as Chu Tianba was blasted back. His body was charred black and emitted a burnt smell. But Chu Tianba didn't back down. He roared into the sky, and his form changed again. An ancient and heavy bell appeared on the surface of his body. As the bell shook, it seemed to shatter the void in all directions. This was another transformation of the Overlord body's 9 great divine forms, Great Bell Tao Physique. The thunder of heavenly punishment landed on the Great Bell Taoist body, but was unable to penetrate it. Chu Tianba activated the Great Bell Tao Physique, and invisible sound waves spread out, tearing the surrounding lightning apart. This Overlord body's divine form is quite interesting. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. Seeing Chu Tianba's ferocity, he wasn't worried at all. Instead, he found interesting. After all, opponents who could make him use a few more moves were few and far between. Again, Jun Xiaoyao clenched his fist, and tens of thousands of bolts of lightning appeared and gathered in Jun Xiaoyao's palm, turning into a blazing flash of lightning. The flash of lightning seemed to be condensed from the lightning of the heavens, and it was so bright that it could blind people. 9 Tribulations Demon Punishing Thunder. Jun Xiaoyao hurled out with one hand. That blazing bolt of lightning seemed to have turned into a lightning spear, piercing right through the great bell physique. This was one of the Thunder Emperor's great divine abilities, punishing the heavens and punishing the earth, destroying everything. Boom! The 9 Tribulations Demon Punishing Lightning landed on the great bell Dao physique, and cracks appeared all over it. Chu Tianba also coughed out a mouthful of blood. Chu Tianba's aura was frenzied, and he didn't retreat. He changed his body again, and a true dragon appeared behind him. It was one of the 9 great divine forms, the true dragon celestial body. Chu Tianba kicked out, and it was like a true dragon swinging its tail, tearing the void apart. This kick was enough to tear any sky pride below the empty god realm to pieces. As for Jun Xiaoyao, the supreme bone in his chest blazed again, and light gathered as he used the hand of heaven. The giant hand imprinted with countless heavenly Dao runes broke through the air, and with a terrifying aura that could kill all living things, it pressed down on Chu Tianba. Even though Chu Tianba had transformed into the true dragon celestial body, under the suppression of the hand of heaven, he was still like an earthworm, spitting out blood and struggling. I don't believe it. I am the overlord body of the heavens, unparalleled since ancient times. Who can defeat me? Chu Tianba roared as he fought crazily. In the next moment, 4 figures appeared around him at the same time. The Kuan Peng divine form, the great bell Taoist body, the true dragon celestial body, and the immortal phoenix feather. When the 4 divine forms were activated at the same time, the power was enough to destroy the heavens and earth. Even the hand of heaven was shaken away by the impact. It seems like you can only use the 4 divine forms at most, Jun Xiaoyao said when he saw the situation. The 9 divine forms of the overlord body were the same as the 6 visions of the sacred body. They weren't innate, but had to be slowly comprehended. Although Chu Tianba had only comprehended the 4 divine forms, he was still considered monster. The 4 divine forms can also kill you. Chu Tianba roared with all his might, and with the power of the 4 divine forms, he charged towards Jun Xiaoyao. All right, then let us use the sacred body and the overlord body to end this battle. Jun Xiaoyao's voice fell. At the same time as he displayed the reverence of the 10,000 saints, a majestic figure with surging immortal light appeared behind him. That figure stood towering between heaven and earth, exuding an unparalleled majesty. The galaxy seemed to be surrounding his waist, and the ancient stars seemed to be just decorations around him. It was the sacred body vision. Immortal King descends to the 9 heavens. At this moment, the reverence of the 10,000 saints surrounded Jun Xiaoyao, and the immortal king appeared behind him. This terrifying vision made Jun Xiaoyao look like the descendant of the gods, the son of heaven and earth. It's over. Jun Xiaoyao once again displayed the 6 paths of reincarnation fist, supported by the divine elephant overpowering force and the immortal bone of the great all-embracing heaven. Then, he added the power of the 2 sacred body visions. The reverence of the 10,000 saints had the power to weaken the enemy's combat power. The immortal king descends to the 9 heavens was an invincible Dao technique that could greatly enhance Jun Xiaoyao's various divine abilities. For example, the 6 paths of reincarnation fist that Jun Xiaoyao displayed at this moment was several times more powerful with the enhancement of the immortal king descends to the 9 heavens. It was as if the immortal king behind Jun Xiaoyao had punched out with him. Rumble. Heaven and earth surged, and dermic power shook. The 2 sacred body visions and the overlord body's 4 divine forms collided fiercely. The fluctuations were indescribable, and the entire 10,000 spirits graveyard seemed to be razed to the ground. The earth cracked, and the heavens shook. Outside the burial ground, the light screen in the sky was covered by endless smoke and dust. All the living beings of the burial ground and the major forces stared at the light screen. What would the result of the battle between the sacred body and the overlord body be? Chapter 360. The sacred body of the ancients and the tyrant body of the firmament had been enemies since ancient times. In the past, they had clashed many times and won and lost. In this era, the sacred body of the ancients and the tyrant body of the firmament were at the same level. Who would win and who would lose? All the creatures in the burial ground were watching nervously. From the perspective of the burial ground, they hoped that Chu Tianba would win. Cough, cough. The sound of blood coughing was heard from the dust. A gust of wind blew, dispersing the dust. Beside the reincarnation pool, Chu Tianba knelt on the ground with one knee. His bronze body was cracked, and light purple blood flowed from the wound. At this moment, Chu Tianba was like a cracked porcelain that would break with a touch. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao was still standing in the void with a calm expression. Crack! The sound of metal cracking was heard. It was Jun Xiaoyao's azure sky dragon armor cracking. Then, the blue sky ancestral dragon armor shattered into green light spots that filled the sky. The cloak of the gods on his back also dissipated. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not show any signs of injury. Even his aura was not chaotic. It was clear who was better and who was worse, who won and who lost. Jun Xiaoyao had completely defeated Chu Tianba. Whoosh! Outside the burial ground, an uproar spread in all directions like a tide. No one expected this to be the result. After the transformation, Chu Tianba, whose body was perfect and had reached the void god realm, was still no match for Jun Xiaoyao. He had even used the 9 godly forms of the tyrant body, but he could not cause any damage to Jun Xiaoyao. What was despair? This was despair. All the creatures in the burial ground were devastated. Their faces were gloomy as if they had suffered a huge blow. Jun Xiaoyao alone defeated the 10 minor kings of the burial ground. No one could fight him. The experts of the Pluto Palace were in disbelief. They froze on the spot as if they had been struck by lightning. Tianming burial king's aura was a little unstable. Chu Tianba, whom he had high hopes for, had lost so miserably. Is there anything in this world that young Master Jun cannot do? Qin Xiener was a little dazed. Jun Xiaoyao had once again refreshed her understanding of him. So there really was such an outstanding man in this world. The ghost-masked female burial emperor was instead the calmest one. Under the mask, there was a faint light in his eyes. At this moment, at the edge of the pool of reincarnation, Chu Tianba's mind went blank as he knelt on the ground with one knee in a daze. Before Chu Tianba could even react, he had already lost. Jun Xiaoyao descended from the sky step by step. Then he walked to the edge of the pool of samsara and picked up the 9 profundity samsara immortal grass. I've finally accomplished my goal. After storing the 9 profundity reincarnation undying grass into his spatial magic tool, Jun Xiaoyao finally heaved a sigh of relief. He had achieved his goal of coming to the burial ground. Only now did Chu Tianba recover from his daze. His entire face was filled with a crazed expression. How is this possible? How is this possible? I am the overlord body, the unparalleled overlord body. Chu Tianba mumbled as if he had gone mad. He could not accept this bloody reality. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were very cold, with a faint trace of pity. From the beginning to the end, you were wrong. Ridiculously wrong. I was wrong? How was I wrong? Chu Tianba's expression suddenly became ferocious. In this world, I'm the only one who can be called unparalleled throughout the ages. Jun Xiaoyao flicked his sleeves and placed them behind his back. His calm words carried a domineering aura. Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who could be called unparalleled throughout the ages. You! Chu Tianba's chest shook as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His Dao heart suffered a huge blow. Jun Xiaoyao's personality was even more domineering than the overlord body. Unparalleled throughout the ages, he was the only one. How crazy and arrogant did a person have to be able to say such arrogant words? It's over. Jun Xiaoyao pushed his palm forward, wanting to end Chu Tianba's life. The two constitutions could not coexist peacefully. Only the fall of one side could end the battle. No, I can't accept this. Chu Tianba shook his head. How could he die like this? It was a loud thud. Chu Tianba took out the soul-reaping bell again, wanting to use it to save his life. With life, there was still a chance to rise again. If he died, there would be nothing left. Chu Tianba did not think that he could live again. Jun Xiaoyao saw this and shook his head. I knew you wouldn't give up, but the result will not change. He also took out the broken ancient armor given by Jiang Daoxiu to resist the power of the soul-reaping bell. At the same time, he slammed his palm towards Chu Tianba's chest. A series of cracking sounds rang out. Chu Tianba's 5 viscera and 6 bowels, including his bones, were all shattered. Even his primordial spirit was shaken violently and was about to collapse. Chu Tianba's entire body was blasted above the reincarnation pool. He kept coughing out blood mixed with his internal organs. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were indifferent. He knew that Chu Tianba was destined to die. Cough, cough. Jun Xiaoyao, are you very proud? After feeling that his life was about to end, Chu Tianba's face was filled with madness. Proud? What's there to be proud of about stepping on an ant? Jun Xiaoyao replied indifferently. There was no sense of accomplishment at all. Pucci. Chu Tianba coughed out blood again. F***CK. He was about to die. Couldn't he say something nice? Chu Tianba was about to explode. Even so, he was still grinning maniacally. His teeth were stained with blood as he said in a chilling manner, Jun Xiaoyao, there is a cycle of reincarnation in the heavens. The heavens will spare no one. One day, you will feel the pain I feel right now. Ha! Who will the heavens spare? I, the Son of God, will rule the world in the future. What is the heavens? Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. He never believed in karma or the heavenly path. With enough strength, one could dominate everything. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's indifferent attitude of invincibility, even Chu Tianba was shocked. This person's invincible mind was almost unshakable. Jun Xiaoyao, it's too early to say that. I have a feeling that in this life, the overlord of the tyrant bloodline will appear. He will end your invincible legend. Chu Tianba's words made Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flash. Overlord? He had heard of this title before. It did not refer to a single person, but to the strongest of the tyrant bloodline. In the past, the tyrant body of the firmament had also had an overlord. In every life, as long as there was an overlord, the sacred body of the ancients would usually be at a disadvantage. In times when there was no overlord, the sacred body of the ancients would be at an advantage. There was no other reason. The overlord was the ultimate sublimation of the tyrant bloodline. In all aspects, he was stronger than the average tyrant body of the firmament. The average sacred body of the ancients did not have much of an advantage in front of the overlord. So what if the overlord is born? You won't be able to see it anyway. Jun Xiaoyao was not affected by the news. When the overlord was born, Jun Xiaoyao's strength would be unimaginably strong. Ha! Jun Xiaoyao, are you sure you can get out of here alive? Chu Tianba suddenly revealed a creepy smile. Then, he suddenly took out a pitch-black seal. At the same time, the blood in his body exploded, releasing the last of the light and heat. Hades Seal Breaker, unseal. Chu Tianba used the last of his strength to activate the Hades Seal Breaker. Then, he threw it directly into the reincarnation pool. In an instant, the world shook and the burial realm trembled. Chapter 361. No one would have thought that such a scene would happen. Even Jun Xiaoyao was stunned for a moment. In this short period of time, Chu Tianba had completed his final mission with his life. The Nether King Seal was given to him by his master, the Heaven Underworld Burial Emperor, to throw into the living reincarnation pool. Then, the living reincarnation pool rumbled as if it was boiling. The pool water surged. The sealing power of the 10,000 spirits graveyard began to gradually disintegrate. At the same time, the seal of the burial world also trembled. This is... Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Could the living reincarnation pool be the core of the sealing power of the burial world? Chu Tianba's action was to break the seal of the burial world. Chu Tianba's body began to collapse, and his aura was about to fall. He hissed and roared, "Master, avenge me!" After roaring, Chu Tianba's body collapsed, and his entire body turned into a pool of flesh and blood. A heavenly tyrant body had fallen. At the same time, the entire 10,000 spirits graveyard was trembling. The dusty inscriptions on the tombstones flickered, and there were sealing runes on them. Below the tombstones, cracks began to appear, and a thick aura of death rolled out. Under the 10,000 spirits graveyard, there seemed to be a group of burial world bosses sealed. But what was more shocking was that there seemed to be some strange movement in the depths of the burial world. There was a terrifying aura of inheritance. The entire burial world was in chaos. At the same time, outside the burial world, seeing Chu Tianba fall, the eyes of the entire Nether King's palace turned red. When the Heaven Underworld Burial Emperor heard the words, "Master, avenge me," his body trembled slightly. The Heaven Underworld Burial Emperor had high hopes for Chu Tianba and even wanted him to take charge of the Nether King's palace in the future. But Chu Tianba died in front of his eyes. A cold, killing intent flashed in the Heaven Underworld Burial Emperor's eyes. At this moment, the seal outside the burial world seemed to be unstable and began to break. Seeing this, the burial earth beings finally came to their senses. It turned out that the Nether King's palace had long planned to break the seal of the burial world. The heavens are about to change. The burial earth creatures here were also shivering, sensing great terror. After the great storm more than 10 years ago, was the burial ground, which had been peaceful for a long time, going to have a great storm again? The Heaven Underworld Burial Emperor's aura surged, and the Supreme Being's aura spread out in all directions. He was the first to make a move, directly entering Burial Realm. The seal of the Burial Realm was on the verge of shattering. It couldn't stop Supreme Being experts from entering. Seeing the Heaven Underworld Burial Emperor enter, all the living beings present could no longer remain calm. Was Tian Ming Burial Emperor going to kill Jun Xiaoyao? When the ghost masked female Burial Emperor saw this, her cold eyes faintly flashed under her mask, and she also entered in a flash. While everyone was still in shock, another rumbling sound came from the void. The successor of the Jun family has gone too far. This voice was deep and low, ancient and full of vicissitudes. A bone dragon with a body that stretched for thousands of miles broke through the void. Its dragon claws seemed to be able to tear the sky apart. In the end, the bone dragon transformed into a middle-aged man wearing white bone armor and a pair of white dragon wings on his back. A ferocious Supreme Being aura poured out in torrents. It's the Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor of the Corpse Dragon tribe. He has also appeared. The appearance of the Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor caused an uproar in all directions. However, the shock was still not over. In the void, a sea of blood overturned and swept over the sky. An old man wearing a blood-red robe stepped on the sea of blood that filled the sky. His monstrous, murderous aura shook the stars and shook the hearts of the people. It's the Blood Fiend tribe's Blood Fiend tribe's Blood Fiend tribe. The ground shook and cracked. Thousands of miles of yellow soil burst open, and a giant, demonic spider the size of a mountain ridge appeared. In the end, it transformed into a man with 8 arms and a powerful aura. The heavenly spider demon lord of the 8-armed spider demon tribe. A cold aura surged as a black-cloaked man carrying an ancient coffin appeared. It's the corpse refining sect master, the legendary Coffin Man. It's rumored that a corpse emperor lies in his coffin. Seeing the Coffin Man, many living beings in burial ground were enraged. The rumored corpse emperor was a terrifying existence that could threaten Supreme Being experts. In addition, a skinny old man in a purple robe appeared. The appearance of this old man made all the living beings in burial ground feel suffocated. They were speechless. Could that be the rumored old man Jiuyo? The Jiuyo Ao that died in the hands of the Jun family son of God was cultivated by him? When the old man Jiuyo appeared, the entire crowd boiled over. This was a top expert who had hidden himself from the world. He did not have any forces and only cultivated the Juyo Ao. Now that the Juyo Ao had fallen in the hands of Jun Xiaoyao, this old man Juyo would not let this matter rest. Then, in addition to these top experts, the buried emperors of the heaven-devouring demonic python tribe, Rakshasa tribe, and undead spirit tribe also appeared. In addition, the king of the Azura demon kingdom also appeared. He was a bearded, middle-aged man wearing blood-red armor. They dared to make a move? The king of the Azura demon kingdom revealed a thoughtful look. On the other side, in the void, a terrifying expert with gray wings on his back was also observing the situation. He was the buried emperor of the Fallen Wing tribe. The Fallen Wing tribe was also the first force to submit to Jun Xiaoyao. Do they not want to live anymore? Or have they already forgotten the tragic situation 10 years ago? The buried emperor of the Fallen Winged tribe muttered to himself. All the living beings in burial ground fell into a state of absolute shock. They did not expect the big shots of the 10 regions of burial ground to appear one after another. Usually, these big shots only existed in rumors. They were incomparably high and incomparably mysterious, watching the ups and downs of the burial ground. But now they had all appeared. It was obvious that they were about to make a big move. After appearing, the Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor, Blood Fiend Ancestor, Sky Spider Demon Ancestor, and other top experts also broke into burial ground. Seeing these experts enter burial ground, the living beings in burial ground could not hold back anymore. They all followed closely behind, wanted to watch the show. At this moment, beside the reincarnation pool, Jun Xiaoyao was frowning. He did not expect the situation to develop to this point. Logically speaking, Jun Xiaoyao should have left after obtaining the 9 Wonders Reincarnation Immortal Grass. But after seeing the reincarnation pool, Jun Xiaoyao dismissed the idea of leaving directly. With such a great opportunity in front of him, it would be stupid not to make good use of it. If he could completely refine the energy of this reincarnation pool, Jun Xiaoyao's strength would definitely skyrocket. It could be said that even in the immortal ancient world, a great opportunity like the reincarnation pool was extremely rare. Jun Xiaoyao naturally could not miss it. But now a great change had occurred in burial ground. The sealing power seemed to be about to shatter, so Jun Xiaoyao naturally could not peacefully cultivate here. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking, waves of powerful auras rushed over from the distance. A huge demonic palm print with an imposing aura covered the sky, like a pitch-black sky, pressing down on Jun Xiaoyao. Chapter 362. Do you really dare to attack? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with coldness as he looked at the incoming gigantic demonic palm. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to use the ancient armor to fight back, on the other side of the sky, red spider lilies bloomed. They were incomparably beautiful and carried with them the aura of death. The red spider lilies collided with the demonic palm, and the power was earth-shattering. It was as if thousands of stars had exploded at the same time. In a battle between supreme being experts, even if it was just a simple move, it was enough to affect heaven and earth and cause great destruction. Ghost-masked Burial Emperor, you've gone too far. In the void, the Heaven Underworld Burial Emperor's cold and angry voice sounded. He didn't expect that the ghost-masked Burial Emperor would protect Jun Xiaoyao to this extent. Even in this situation, she still wanted to protect Jun Xiaoyao. Before my karma is clear, no one is allowed to touch him. Under the mask, the ghost-masked Burial Emperor's cold voice was filled with killing intent. It was almost instinctive for her to protect Jun Xiaoyao. Moreover, the ghost-masked Burial Emperor also wanted to know what kind of karma she had with Jun Xiaoyao. If Jun Xiaoyao died now, this karma would never be resolved. It wasn't a good thing for the ghost-masked Burial Emperor. Jun Xiaoyao has committed a great sin in the burial ground. It's impossible for him to walk out of the burial ground alive. The Heaven Underworld Burial Emperor's voice was cold. As his voice fell, the Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor, Blood Fiend Ancestor, Sky Spider Demon Elder, Corpse Refining Sect Master, Old Man Juyo, and other burial emperors rushed over. Every one of them was an expert above the supreme being level. The appearance of one of them was enough to shock everyone, not to mention all of them appearing together. Moreover, the most important thing was that the person they were targeting was merely a junior with cultivation in the divine flame realm. A group of supreme being experts targeting a junior in the divine fire realm. If word got out, many people's eyeballs would pop out. If it was an ordinary genius, their legs would have gone soft, and they would have collapsed on the ground. However, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were calm and cold when facing the group of burial emperors. It was like a bottomless abyss. The many burial earth beings who had followed behind also had complicated feelings when they saw this scene. On one hand, they did not expect that a group of burial emperors would fall to the point of targeting a junior. On the other hand, Jun Xiaoyao's demeanor alone was enough to make even those who didn't have a good impression of him admire him. Young Master Jun. In the crowd, a beautiful figure flashed over. It was Lang Huan. She tried to comprehend the Lightning Emperor's great divine ability to no avail. When she came out to search for other opportunities, she saw a group of burial earth creatures entering. She sensed that burial realm might have undergone some changes, so she followed him here. He didn't expect to see such a scene. Many burial emperors were trying to kill Jun Xiaoyao alone. Lang Huan, come back. In the skies, the Azura ruler waved his hand, stopping Lang Huan. Now is not the time to express opinions. Every action could have far-reaching consequences. Even though the Azura Demon Empire was the influence that had the least enmity with Jun Xiaoyao, the Azura Emperor still didn't want to recklessly wade into these muddy waters. Let's go and help young Master Jun. Lang Huan's eyes were filled with anxiety. She didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to die. Don't worry. It's not that easy for the Jun family members to die. The Azura ruler's eyes were deep as he looked into the depths of the 10,000 spirits graveyard. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao, who was the center of attention, was incomparably calm. His gaze swept across Tianming, Burial Emperor, and the others as he said casually, "You beat up the young one, and the old one comes. Can't you change your tactics? Jun family's junior. Don't you know that you've committed a heinous crime?" Tianming Burial Emperor released a terrifying pressure. However, it was useless against Jun Xiaoyao. Crime? Killing one is a crime. Killing 10,000 is a hero. This son of God still thinks that I haven't killed enough. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was sharp. You want me to back down or lower my head? It was impossible. Others might be arrogant for a while, but Jun Xiaoyao would be arrogant for life. With his talent and background, if he still acted like a coward, he would be a real coward. Don't be a coward, just be strong. That was Jun Xiaoyao's principle. The stronger the enemy, the more Jun Xiaoyao would not back down. I know what you're relying on. It's the Jun family behind you, but so what? Now that you've offended almost the entire burial ground, the Jun family can't protect you. Tianming Burial Emperor's voice was filled with killing intent. That's right. Even if the Jun family intervenes, this matter will not be settled. The Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor also spoke. Seeing this, the creatures of the burial ground regained their senses. Jun Xiaoyao did not just kill creatures from one or two forces. 90% of the forces of the burial ground had been offended by Jun Xiaoyao. If it was only one or two forces, they might be afraid of the Jun family. For example, the Fallen Feather clan would never have dared to go against the Jun family on their own. However, there were too many forces that wanted to kill Jun Xiaoyao. The King of Hell Palace, the Corpse Dragon Tribe, the Eight-Armed Spider Demon Tribe, the Sky-Devouring Demonic Python Tribe, the Blood Fiend Tribe, the Corpse Refining Sect, and other forces. There was also Old Man Jiuyo, who did not have any forces. With so many top forces and powerhouses working together, even the Jun family could not do as they pleased, right? It seems that the Jun family's son of God made a mistake this time. He underestimated the danger of these forces. A creature of the burial ground shook his head. Perhaps Jun Xiaoyao would fail in the eternal burial ground. So you're after my life, then? Jun Xiaoyao asked in a flat tone. I'll give you a chance. Kill yourself. Tianming Burial Emperor said coldly. If possible, he did not want to do it himself. Whoever killed Jun Xiaoyao would probably be targeted fiercely by the Jun family. Therefore, no one wanted to kill Jun Xiaoyao personally. Jun Xiaoyao killing himself was the best choice. Jun Xiaoyao laughed as if he had just heard the funniest joke in the world. What do you mean? Tianming Burial Emperor's face darkened. Who gave you the courage to speak to me like that? Jun Xiaoyao scolded coldly. Who gave you the courage to speak to me like that? These high and mighty burial emperors of the burial earth, do they have a screw loose in their heads, or did water get into their heads? They had no idea who the person they were threatening was. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, even the high and mighty burial emperors, who were calm and composed, felt a surge of anger. There's no need to say more. This kid is too arrogant. Let's attack together. I don't believe that the Jun family has the guts to destroy all the forces in the burial ground. The heavenly spider demon ancestor of the 8-armed spider demon clan said coldly. That's right. Although the Jun family is strong, they can't do anything in the immortal realm, let alone in the burial ground. Moreover, the burial ground is about to be broken. I'm afraid the Jun family will be in big trouble. The blood demon ancestor also said coldly. The 10,000 spirits graveyard would be broken soon. The sealed big shots of the burial ground hated the Jun family to the core. Not to mention, there were still terrifying existences in the depths of the burial ground since ancient times. It would not be easy for the Jun family to go deep into the burial ground and destroy all the forces there. After understanding this point, Tianming Jinhuang and the others no longer hesitated or feared. They must kill Jun Xiaoyao today. Chapter 363. How dare you? Seeing that Tianming Burial Emperor and the others were still determined to attack, the Ghost-Masked Burial Emperor let out a cold shout filled with killing intent. Ghost-Masked Burial Emperor, although you're strong, you can't stop all of us. This kid will die today. Tianming Burial Emperor said coldly. Let the two of us stop her. The Rakshasa Burial Emperor and the Necromancer Burial Emperor stood out at the same time. If it was just one Burial Emperor facing the Ghost-Masked Burial Emperor, it would be quite dangerous. Thus, the two Burial Emperors attacked at the same time to stop the Ghost-Masked Burial Emperor. The three Burial Emperors immediately engaged in a great battle. It had to be said that the Ghost-Masked Burial Emperor was very strong. As she waved her hand, Permitha flowers bloomed. The law of death surged out and intertwined in the void. The Rakshasa Burial Emperor and the Necromancer Burial Emperor's faces changed. Although they were all Burial Emperors, there was still a difference in strength. After all, there were 7 realms in the Sovereign Realm. The Rakshasa Burial Emperor and the Necromancer Burial Emperor were weaker than the Ghost-Masked Burial Emperor. It was already very difficult for them to hold her back. On the other side, Tianming Burial Emperor and the others naturally wouldn't delay. They immediately charged towards Jun Xiaoyao. Tianming Burial Emperor naturally wouldn't act alone. If he were to kill Jun Xiaoyao alone, the Jun family would definitely point the finger at him first. Thus, Tianming Burial Emperor was very smart. He didn't attack alone, but together with the other Burial Emperors. Their attacks were very casual. They only pointed out a finger. However, with so many Burial Emperors attacking at the same time, it was enough to kill Jun Xiaoyao 1,000,000 times. Is the Jun family son of God going to die? Although I hate him, I have to admit that the Jun family son of God is indeed a peerless monster. I didn't expect him to die in such a situation. It's already very ostentatious. A group of Burial Emperors sending him on his way. Which young genius would receive such treatment? The surrounding Burial Earth beings all sighed in amazement. Even if Jun Xiaoyao died, his deeds would probably be passed down for many years. Young Master Jun, Lang Huan, and Qin Xiener's eyes trembled. Is Jun Xiaoyao really going to fall here? Who can take the life of Jun Xiaoyao? Not even the heavens can, let alone you. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes shot out 3 feet of divine light. He took out the ancient armor again. An ancient and vicissitude aura flowed around it, as if it was the sturdiest barrier. Rumble. The casual attacks of the group of buried emperors were actually blocked by this ancient armor. There is something. Heaven Spider Demon Venerable narrowed his eyes slightly. As the son of God of the Jun family, It was only natural for him to have some protective treasures, so they were not surprised. Everyone continue attacking. This ancient armor won't last long, the corpse refining sect leader said coldly. The coffin on his back opened, and a monstrous corpse and murderous aura surged out. Then, a corpse emperor appeared. Its power was extremely great, making even supreme beings' expressions change slightly. The corpse emperor stretched out his palm. His fingernails were as sharp as blades, and they tore the void apart, creating a pitch-black spatial crack. The corpse emperor's palm landed on the ancient armor, and a terrifying shockwave was produced. More cracks appeared on the ancient armor. Although it was a protective item given by Jiang Daoxiu, the one who attacked was a supreme being after all. An ancient armor wouldn't be able to last for long. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was still calm, and his eyes were deep with a hint of coldness. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's calmness, the killing intent in Tianming Burial Emperor and the others' hearts surged. Jun Xiaoyao simply did not put the group of buried emperors in his eyes. Just an ancient armor, and you're so confident? Let's see how I break it. Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor saw the situation and shouted coldly. He raised his hand, and a white bone blade made of a white dragon horn fell into his hand. It was a Boundary Emperor weapon, the Dragon Bone Sacred Saber. Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor activated the Dragon Bone Sacred Saber and slashed down. It was as if the heavens and the earth were split into two. A supreme being's cultivation was enough to unleash the power of a Boundary Emperor weapon. This slash was enough to split the earth. Crack! After the ancient armor endured this slash, it finally shattered in front of everyone. Dying! Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor's slash did not weaken as it fell on Jun Xiaoyao's head. He did not care if he killed Jun Xiaoyao with his own hands. As long as Jun Xiaoyao died, all the buried emperors present would not be able to escape responsibility. The Jun family might be the first to target him, but after that, they would still hold Tianming Burial Emperor and the others accountable. Instead of wasting time, he might as well end it with a single slash. You're courting death. Seeing that Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor was about to kill Jun Xiaoyao, the ghost-masked buried emperor shouted coldly with killing intent. Her hair fluttered, and her killing intent changed the color of the sky. Heaven and earth turned upside down. Bang! The ghost-masked buried emperor formed a complicated hand seal and hit the Luosha buried emperor, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. He was instantly severely injured. Then, a red spider lily with the law of death surrounded the dead spirit burial emperor. He was also severely injured. Just as the ghost-masked buried emperor was about to save him, a purple-robed old man stood in front of her. Ghost-masked buried emperor, I think you've lost your mind. You're going against us for an ant from the outside world. The one who stood in front of the ghost-masked buried emperor was Old Man Juyo. Old Man Juyo has made his move. Seeing Old Man Juyo standing in front of the ghost-masked buried emperor, all the buried earth beings could not help but exclaim. Old Man Juyo's true form was also a Juyo Ao. Although his bloodline was not pure, he was still a mixed blood Juyo Ao in the Supreme Realm. Old Man Juyo kept a low profile and did not have any power behind him. However, his strength was enough to be ranked in the top 3 among the buried emperors in the 10 regions of Burial Earth. He could compete with the Tianming Burial Emperor and the Ghost-masked Buried Emperor. You want to stop me? The Ghost-masked Buried Emperor's beautiful eyes shot out an extremely cold gaze. If Old Man Juyo made his move, she would not be able to escape. Needless to say, this kid will definitely die today. Old Man Juyo's proudest successor, the Juyo Ao, had been killed by Jun Xiaoyao. Naturally, he wanted to kill Jun Xiaoyao as well. Old Man Juyo made his move. Purple light waves swept out, shattering the void for thousands of miles. The Juyo divine ability was used, destroying the universe. Seeing that the ghost-masked buried emperor was blocked, all the buried earth beings shook their heads. It seemed that everything was over. The dragon skeleton buried emperor's blade was about to land on Jun Xiaoyao's head. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was still indifferent. It was as if he did not care about life and death. At this moment, A zither-sound blade suddenly came, and with a clang, the dragon skeleton's sacred blade was knocked aside. "Who is it?" The dragon skeleton buried Emperor roared. In front of Jun Xiaoyao, the void shattered, and a woman in a gray robe with fluttering sleeves appeared. Her black hair fluttered in the wind, covering half of her face. Even though half of her face was exposed, it was still as beautiful as snow, stunning and dreamy. Although the woman was extremely beautiful, the words that came out of Ingtao, Sandin's mouth, contained an earth-shattering, killing intent. "How dare you harm the young master? Kill without mercy." Chapter 364. The woman who appeared was naturally Jun Xiaoyao's protector, Audiobook. She had been guarding outside the ancient burial ground. When she sensed that Jun Xiaoyao was in danger, she directly broke through the void and came over. She knew that Jun Xiaoyao, being the precious child of the Jun family and the Jiang family of the clan of the ancients, must have a lot of protective items on him. However, Audiobook was still worried and came personally. To her, Jun Xiaoyao could not be harmed in the slightest. Even if Jun Xiaoyao only had a small scratch, Audiobook would blame herself. "Audiobook, you're here." Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly as he looked at the beautiful silhouette standing in front of him. Actually, she did not have to come. Jun Xiaoyao dared to come to the ancient burial ground because he was confident. "Young master, let Audiobook protect him." Audiobook's hair fluttered, and her face was filled with determination. Jun Xiaoyao was stunned. He shook his head and smiled. Although it sounded a little suspicious of a man being protected by a woman, it did sound a little suspicious. However, he had to admit that the feeling of being protected by a beauty was quite good. As for the ancient burial ground creatures present, they were all stunned. Their jaws almost fell to the ground. Who was this beauty that suddenly appeared? Why did it feel like another ancient burial queen? Moreover, she was also here to protect Jun Xiaoyao. How good was Jun Xiaoyao's luck with women? Could he be protected by a beautiful woman just because he was handsome? The burial earth creatures here all became jealous, sour to the point where they wanted to die. Damn it, this was the peak of life. There was no comparison at all. Under such circumstances, you still dare to appear to protect this child. The dragon skeleton burial king held the dragon bone's sacred blade and said coldly, "With so many buried emperors here, unless it was the Jun family that sent out the ancestors, who would dare to block them? A mere quasi-supreme dares to appear. Should I say that you're loyal or stupid?" Tianming burial king's expression was calm. Under such circumstances, even a supreme being would not be enough to protect Jun Xiaoyao, not to mention a quasi-supreme martial artist. Audiobook did not say anything. She placed a zither in front of her. At the same time, her aura soared, and her hair fluttered. In her eyes, a terrifying scene of the sun being destroyed and stars sinking appeared. Chaotic light shot out. "That's Polychoria." The sky spider demon venerable was shocked. These burial kings finally understood why Audiobook had the courage to appear. Although her cultivation was quasi-supreme, with her Polychoria was not much weaker than a supreme being. A Jew's Polychoria divine ability was far superior to Junling's songs. When the dual pupils were cultivated to the highest level, it was very normal for them to challenge those of a higher level. Heavenly Song of the Tribulation of Mortals. Audiobook's slender fingers stroked the strings of the zither, and the sound of the zither spread out. At first, it sounded like the sound of a celestial being. However, if one listened carefully, it contained the intent of a heavenly tribulation. The terrifying, destructive sound of the zither swept towards the dragon skeleton burial king. Even the dragon skeleton burial king became more cautious. He held the dragon bone sacred saber and fought against Audiobook. At this moment, the blood fiend race's patriarch blood fiend's eyes flashed fiercely. He attacked Jun Xiaoyao. Their race's prodigy had been burned to ashes by Jun Xiaoyao's Tua, she ancient emperor flame. Naturally, the blood fiend race's patriarch wanted to take revenge. Therefore, the blood fiend race's patriarch attacked. His eyes were cold and contemptuous. He pointed out a finger, wanting to kill Jun Xiaoyao with a single finger. This was also a disguised form of humiliation. Seeing the blood fiend race's patriarch pointing at him, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with a dark light. Ajio's expression changed. He wanted to stop it, but the dragon skeleton burial king blocked him. "You're courting death." At this moment, Aju was no longer as calm as an ancient well and as quiet as a virgin. In order to protect Jun Xiaoyao, she seemed to have turned into a goddess of war. Terrifying black light shot out from her eyes. It collapsed the void and charged towards the dragon skeleton burial king. The dragon skeleton burial king was caught off guard and was injured. In the face of the blood fiend race's patriarch's contemptuous attack, Jun Xiaoyao's lips suddenly curled into a smile. It was an even more contemptuous smile. Seeing this smile, the blood fiend race's patriarch's heart skipped a beat. He was confused. He was about to die. How could he still have such an expression? However, in the next moment, the blood fiend race's patriarch understood why Jun Xiaoyao had such a smile. Jun Xiaoyao took out a broken mottled ancient sword. The entire sword was simple and unadorned. It did not have any sharp aura. However, such an ordinary ancient sword swept towards the blood fiend race's patriarch at lightning speed. Then, the blood fiend race's patriarch's body was split into two. The blood fiend race's patriarch did not even have time to react. He was still pointing his finger at Jun Xiaoyao. However, when his finger was 10 feet away from Jun Xiaoyao, he could no longer use any magic power. How is this possible? The blood fiend race's patriarch lowered his head slightly. He realized that the lower half of his body was gone. His old eyes suddenly widened. They were filled with horror. The broken ancient sword suddenly emitted an aura that made the heavens tremble. A blurry figure appeared, holding a broken ancient sword in his hand. "How dare you attack the descendant of the Jiang family? Kill without mercy." The vague figure was not a remnant soul. It was just a wisp of aura that was attached to the broken ancient sword. However, it was this wisp of aura that activated the broken ancient sword and split a prime expert into two. Who would believe it? Tianming Burial King and the others were shocked. They did not expect such a situation to happen. "No, how is this possible? I am a prime expert, a prime expert." The blood fiend race's aura surged. Demonic blood spread out from his body, trying to merge the two halves of his body. After all, he was a prime expert. Even if his body was chopped into pieces, he could still recover. However, that wisp of aura did not give the blood fiend race's patriarch a chance to recover. With a broken ancient sword in his hand, the blood fiend race's patriarch attacked at lightning speed. Tianming Burial King and the others could not help in time. The next moment, puff! The broken ancient sword pierced the blood fiend race's patriarch's head. Then, a terrifying murderous aura surged out. It directly shattered the blood fiend race's primordial spirit and body. The blood fiend race's patriarch did not even have time to scream before he died. An ancient sword killed a prime expert. Wow! Endless exclamations could be heard from all directions. What was shocking? That was shocking. A prime expert had died in front of their eyes. Moreover, he was almost killed in an instant. That was extremely terrifying. They felt a chill from head to toe. They could not help but look at Jun Xiaoyao again. They realized that Jun Xiaoyao's expression was as calm as before. Obviously, that was within his expectations. His countless gasps could be heard. Jun Xiaoyao had plotted against a celestial being without making a sound. If the blood fiend race's patriarch had not been unprepared and underestimated him, he would not have been killed by the broken ancient sword. Jun Xiaoyao's move had completely shocked everyone. Chapter 365. Blood floated in the sky, and heaven and earth trembled. When an honorable martial artist died, there would be all kinds of strange phenomena. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the scene of the honorable martial artist dying, but his expression was rather calm. As expected of the great killing weapon bestowed by grandfather, Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly. Jiang Daoshu didn't just give him a defensive ancient armor. He even gave him this great killing weapon. This damaged ancient sword was a sword given to an ancient ancestor of the Jiang family, and it had always been enshrined in the Jiang family's ancestral hall. This time, Jun Xiaoyao would probably encounter many dangers in the burial ground, as well as all kinds of indescribable terrors. Therefore, Jiang Daoxu gave this damaged, ancient sword that contained the aura of the Jiang family's ancestor to Jun Xiaoyao and let him carry it with him. This kind of protective treasure wasn't like an emperor weapon. An emperor weapon usually needed a person to activate it in order to unleash its power. For example, even if Jun Xiaoyao carried the Pan Huang sword, he wouldn't be able to unleash 1/10,000th of its power. However, this kind of ancient artifact was different. It could operate on its own, and there was no need for Jun Xiaoyao to activate it. It was also a life-saving trump card. And now, the ancient sword had indeed come in handy. As soon as it was activated, it killed an honorable martial artist. The surroundings were shocked, and the crowd was terrified. Jun Xiaoyao was simply a cunning old fox. Even an honorable martial artist died in his hands. Who would dare to believe it? Too terrifying. He even dared to scheme against an honorable martial artist. This son of God of the Jun family is simply too terrifying. No wonder the son of God of the Jun family is so fearless, and his expression doesn't change even if Mount Tai collapses in front of him. So it turns out that he has this kind of backing. However, now that he has activated this great killing weapon, the other emperors are already on guard. It's almost impossible to kill another emperor. There were also some burial ground creatures who saw that the blood fiend ancestor's death was mainly because he underestimated the enemy and was completely unguarded. This was why he was schemed against by Jun Xiaoyao. The other buried emperors were not fools. They obviously would not lower their guard against Jun Xiaoyao. Don't delay any longer. Let's attack together. I don't believe that this lad can still take out so many killing weapons. The heaven-devouring demonic python race's burial emperor said coldly. Hearing the heaven-devouring demonic python race's burial emperor's words, Jun Xiaoyao laughed instead. A mottled bronze tower and a guardian talisman appeared beside him once more. Both of them radiated with extraordinary ripples. These two ancient weapons were no weaker than the ancient sword and ancient armor. This, the buried sovereign of the heaven-devouring demonic python clan, was at a loss for words. Jun Xiaoyao's divine fire realm cultivation was clearly just an ant-like existence in his eyes. However, he couldn't do anything to this ant in his eyes. There was no need to mention how sullen this feeling was. If you want to kill this son of God, come at me. If I take a step back, it's my loss. Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands behind his back, his aura leisurely. That kind of attitude was even more aloof and superior than the buried emperors. If it wasn't for the huge difference in cultivation, everyone would even think that Jun Xiaoyao was the stronger one. Awesome. I can't find any other words to describe it. A burial ground creature said in a daze. If I can be as arrogant as the son of God of the Jun family for once in my life, then my life will not be in vain. Many creatures exclaimed. To be honest, although Jun Xiaoyao was standing on the opposite side of the burial ground, sometimes they had to submit to him. Jun Xiaoyao's bearing was too aloof. How dare you? Tianming burial emperor and the others no longer pretended to be arrogant and started to get serious. Tianming burial emperor reached out with one hand, and a terrifying demonic palm appeared in the void, like a pitch-black curtain that covered the sky. The sky-devouring demonic python race's burial emperor also attacked. A 10,000 feet long demonic python phantom appeared, wanting to devour Jun Xiaoyao. The sky spider demon Venerable also used a great divine ability. His 8 arms slapped out, and terrifying cracks appeared in the void. The corpse refining sect master controlled the corpse emperor and attacked. As for the dragon skeleton burial emperor, it was held back by Agio. The old man Jiuyo was fighting with the ghost-masked burial emperor. The Rakshasa burial emperor and the dead spirit burial emperor were also severely injured by the ghost-masked burial emperor, so they didn't attack for the time being. The Shura monarch felt like he was not involved from the beginning to the end. The fallen winged race's burial emperor's expression changed for a long time, but he didn't attack in the end. At this moment, the 4 burial emperors attacked together. That kind of power was simply indescribable. The entire burial ground seemed to be boiling. If it wasn't for the special environment of the burial ground and the sturdy laws of heaven and earth, perhaps the 4 burial emperors were enough to tear this world apart. Jun Xiaoyao's expression remained unchanged in the face of such overwhelming attacks that felt like a raging ocean. In front of him, the broken ancient sword, the giant bronze pagoda, the guardian talisman, and other ancient artifacts automatically released brilliance. They also had a monstrous aura. The broken ancient sword was given to him by Jiang Daoxiu, and the giant bronze pagoda and the guardian talisman were already given to him by the 18th ancestor. The deafening sound poured out in all directions, and the fierce magic power swept out in all directions. Some of the weaker burial ground beings were directly shaken by the aftershock and vomited blood. However, Jun Xiaoyao was like a reef in the waves, not moving at all. However, if one looked closely, they would be able to see that Jun Xiaoyao's body was slightly trembling. Obviously, it wasn't easy to resist this power. If it weren't for Jun Xiaoyao's freakishly strong physical body, the aftershock would have torn apart the other prodigy's bodies. How many more attacks can you block? Tianming Burial Emperor's eyes were cold. It was obviously unrealistic for Jun Xiaoyao to rely on a few ancient artifacts to avoid this disaster. Jun Xiaoyao himself understood this. Sai, do I really have to alert the old team leader and the others? Jun Xiaoyao secretly sighed. If he had a choice, Jun Xiaoyao actually didn't want to use his family's power. After all, it would be troublesome for the Jun family to make a move in the burial ground. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking, suddenly, an extremely terrifying aura rose from the depths of the 10,000 spirit graveyard. That aura wasn't the aura of death, and it obviously didn't come from an expert of the burial ground. And then that's the pupils of Tianming Burial Emperor and the others suddenly shrank. That aura even caused them to feel extreme shock and astonishment. Jiu, who was fighting with the dragon skeleton burial emperor, also had a flicker of light in his eyes after sensing that aura. Is it him? The aura that suddenly surged in the depths of the 10,000 spirit graveyard changed the entire battle. Then, a terrifying and boundless saber light suddenly swept across the sky and slashed over. The saber slashed across the sky, as if it had torn the sky in half. The huge spatial crack was like a wound in the sky, traversing thousands of miles across the firmament. The saber slashed straight at Tianming, Burial Emperor, and the others. Heavenly Master. Feeling the terrifying aura of the saber, Tianming, Burial Emperor, and the others' faces changed drastically. The Burial Emperors, who had always been high and mighty and looked down on the billions of living beings in the burial ground, had a look of shock in their eyes for the first time. There was also a vague sense of fear. That saber was the might of a heavenly master. Chapter 366. After the 9th level of the Sage Realm, it was the 7th level of the Supremacy Realm. As the Supremacy Realm experts were high above, everyone called them the Supremacy. However, the Supremacy Realm was also divided into 7 levels. Quasi-Supremacy, Supremacy, Lesser Heavenly Supremacy, Greater Heavenly Supremacy, Greater Heavenly Supremacy, Creation Supremacy, and Chaos Supremacy. Other than the Quasi-Supremacy, most of the ordinary supremacies were ordinary supremacies. Above that level, the Lesser Heavenly Supremacy experts were even rarer. The difficulty of advancing to the 7th level of the Supremacy Realm was comparable to the previous 9 levels of the Sage Realm added together. One could imagine how big the gap was. At that moment, the blade light that swept across thousands of miles carried the might of a heavenly supremacy. Even if it was just a lesser heavenly supremacy, it was not something that the supremacies could resist. Soul Reaping Bell. Tianming Burial Emperor summoned the sub-emperor weapon, Soul Reaping Bell. The rest of the buried emperors also unleashed their strongest moves in an attempt to defend against the saber attack. Rumble. The blade seemed to have shattered the heavens. Tianming Burial Emperor was still fine, as he was one of the top 3 experts in the Burial Earth 10 regions. He was only pushed back. However, the other 3 Burial Emperors were not so lucky. The Sky Spider Demon Supremacy and the Sky Devouring Demonic Python Race Burial Emperor both spat out a mouthful of blood. Blood splattered everywhere as the ground collapsed. The Corpse Refining Sect Master was even more miserable. The Corpse Emperor that he summoned was completely intact and took the blade head-on. The Corpse Emperor, whose body was incomparably tough and comparable to a Supremacy Realm expert, was split into 2 by the blade. No! The Corpse Refining Sect Master's eyes were bloodshot as he roared. Most of his strength was entrusted to the Corpse Emperor. After the Corpse Emperor was destroyed, his combat strength was no different from a quasi-supremacy. This sudden turn of events caused everyone to be stupefied. No one expected the situation to take such a turn. In the depths of the 10,000 Spirits graveyard, a majestic figure slowly stepped out. With every step he took, the heavens seemed to tremble and ripples appeared in the void. It was a handsome and majestic middle-aged man. His eyes were filled with vicissitudes of life, and his black hair fell to the back of his feet. There were countless scabs all over his body, covered with dust accumulated over time. In his right hand, he held a saber that was as tall as a man. The blade of the saber was stained with dark red blood. The apocalyptic saber light from earlier had come from his hand. This figure's aura was like an abyss, like a devil, causing even Supreme Being experts to feel fear in their eyes, and they couldn't help but feel terrified. He was none other than the figure that had sat cross-legged in the depths of the myriad spirits' graveyard like a clay statue. After sensing Jun Xiaoyao's aura, he woke up. It was as if a sleeping lion had awoken, shaking the mountains and rivers with a single roar. Little Empyrean cultivation, could it be you? Tianming, Zhuang Huang, and the others' eyes shrunk when they saw the figure. They thought of the terrifying calamity that had befallen them more than 10 years ago. Even though they were Supremes, they didn't dare to get too close. This man was the follower of the forbidden figure of the Jun family at that time. However, even though he was only a follower, his cultivation was enough to sweep through everything. At this moment, the middle-aged man's eyes were incomparably cold, and there was a murderous intent in them. It was as if in his eyes, Tianming, Zhuang Huang, and the others were just lambs waiting to be slaughtered. The middle-aged man's gaze first fell on Ajio. Ajio had also noticed him a long time ago. "You've been guarding this place all this time, Demon King Li Exine." Ajio's eyes also showed a hint of emotion. The middle-aged man's gaze finally fell on Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao also looked at the man who suddenly appeared. To be honest, he was puzzled. Could this man have been guarding the depths of the myriad spirits graveyard all this time? However, Jun Xiaoyao could feel that this man didn't have the slightest intention of killing him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have used that saber to save him. "You are." Jun Xiaoyao paused. All the creatures of the burial ground present held their breaths. Where did this terrifying little Empyrean who suddenly appeared come from? The middle-aged man walked step by step in front of Jun Xiaoyao. After getting closer, Jun Xiaoyao realized that there were many shocking scars on this man's body. It was hard to imagine that after suffering such heavy injuries, this man still managed to survive. The middle-aged man looked at Jun Xiaoyao, and there was an unconcealable fluctuation in his eyes that were as dark as the abyss. There was a hint of gratification and love in his eyes. In the next moment, in front of all the creatures of the burial ground, this man slowly knelt down on one knee in front of Jun Xiaoyao. White-clothed Divine King Jun Wuhui's subordinate, Li Exine of the 8 Divine Kings, greets the young master. The sonorous and powerful words seemed to make the heavens and earth tremble. Everyone was stunned for a moment, and then all the creatures of the burial ground were dumbfounded, unable to believe it. A little Empyrean expert actually knelt down on one knee in front of Jun Xiaoyao. This was simply shocking, and goosebumps rose all over their bodies. However, when Tianming and the others heard this, their pupils shrank, and a hint of fear instinctively flashed across their eyes. The white-clothed divine King Jun Wuhui was the taboo figure of the Jun family who caused havoc in the eternal burial ground more than 10 years ago. A fierce person who killed his way into the depths of the burial ground and even sealed the entire burial ground. Until today, when they heard the 3 words Jun Wuhui, Tianming, and the others still couldn't hide the fear in their eyes. However, the waves in everyone's hearts couldn't compare to the shock in Jun Xiaoyao's heart at this moment. Previously, he vaguely guessed that the taboo figure who caused havoc in the burial ground more than 10 years ago might be his father. However, he was never sure. Now, a corner of the secret was revealed. One of the 8 divine kings who used to be under his father's command had appeared. Moreover, his cultivation was so powerful. "Senior, please rise." Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't put on any airs in front of his father's loyal subordinates. Moreover, looking at the scars on Li Xian's body, Jun Xiaoyao could imagine that the battle in the burial ground was definitely not that easy. Li Xian was able to survive and guard the all-spirits graveyard until now. This kind of loyalty was truly moving. I, Li Xian, am willing to go through water and tread on fire for the Jun family for generations to come. Now I will kill all enemies for the young master. Li Xian stood up, holding the Zamadeo in his hand horizontally. A terrifying demonic aura gushed out from his body. The 8 desolates were shaken, the wilderness trembling. Groups of stars swayed, the heavens were destroyed. Li Xian, one of the divine king's 8 under Jun Wuhui, was known as the Demon King. His Zamadeo could cut through the sun, moon, and stars. On the other side, Ajio, who was fighting with the Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor, saw this scene and slightly gasped. Although she had polychoria and extraordinary strength, she was only at the bottom of the Divine King's 8. As for Li Xian, he had the blood of the ancient demon god flowing in his body. He was one of Jun Wuhui's best generals. I didn't expect that the survivor of the past would be so lucky to survive until now. However, although you are a little heavenly lord, you are seriously injured. How much strength do you have left now? Although Tianming Burial Emperor and the others looked extremely serious, they didn't immediately retreat. Li Xian's body was full of wounds. Although his aura was shocking, who knew if he was an arrow at the end of its flight? Most importantly, the seal of the burial ground was about to be broken. When the sealed burial ground boss appeared, even Li Xian wouldn't be able to save the situation. Li Xian's eyes coldly looked at Tianming Burial Emperor and the others. The Zamadeo in his hand was pointed at the Burial Emperors. "You have disrespected the young master. Pay with your lives." Chapter 367. Li Xian's black hair danced in the wind as his demonic aura surged. He looked like a demon king that was born. It was hard to imagine that Li Xian, one of the king of God's 8, had such a domineering aura. What about the white-robed king of gods, Jun Wuhui, who had subdued the king of God's 8? This is too terrifying. Is he really the follower of the taboo character of the Jun family? Yeah, with such an aura, I would believe it if you told me that he was the one who started the chaos in the burial ground. The creatures of the burial ground who were watching the show hid far away, fearing that they would be affected. Li Xian's aura was too powerful. It was as if a demon king was born. The aura of a junior heavenly lord poured out. It was not something that could be withstood. He was severely injured back then, and his strength has fallen to rock bottom. If we attack together, we might have a chance of winning. Tianming Burial Emperor shouted. As one of the top 3 powerhouses in the Burial Ground 10 regions, Tianming Burial Emperor cultivation was also at the peak of the Supreme Being realm. He was only one step away from becoming a junior Heavenly Lord. However, it was this one step that had hindered Tianming Burial Emperor for many years. It was extremely difficult to break through to the Supreme Being realm. If one did not have the talent and opportunity, they might be stuck at this cultivation level forever. The reason why Tianming Burial Emperor wanted to break through the sealed burial ground was to find an opportunity to break through in the burial ground. However, he had to deal with Li Xian first before he could talk about the next step. Hearing Tianming Burial Emperor's words, the Sky Spider Overlord, The sky-devouring demonic Python clan's burial emperor and the corpse-refining sect leader gritted their teeth and attacked. Right now, the group of buried emperors were all grasshoppers on the same rope. They were bound together for good or ill. Kill. Tianming burial emperor attacked first. He activated the boundary emperor weapon, the soul-reaping bell. A terrifying bell wave spread out and shattered the surrounding space. The Sky Spider Overlord also attacked. His 8 arms performed the 8 Spiders' demonic seal, which was extremely powerful. The corpse-refining sect leader did not have enough strength. His biggest support, the Corpse Emperor, had been cut in half by Li Xian. The sky-devouring demonic Python clan's burial emperor also attacked. The demonic Python's shadow swallowed the world. It could be said that the full power of a supreme being was simply indescribable. The entire burial realm was trembling. Heaven and earth were overturned, as if the world was going to be destroyed. The burial earth creatures who were watching the show had long hidden far away, watching from afar. In the face of such destructive power, Li Xian stood tall and straight, holding the horse-slaying broadsword in his hand. His whole person was like a pillar supporting the sky. Even if the sky collapsed, it would not bend his spine. Sky Demon 7 slashes, reverse slash. Li Xian held his saber with one hand and slashed horizontally. A 30,000-meter-long astral saber swept across the sky, shattering the void and causing the blood-red clouds to collapse. All sorts of runes imbued with demonic were imprinted in the void as the energy saber slashed out. Bang! With a single slash, the Tianming Burial Emperor and the others were knocked back once again. The corpse-refining sect master and the others who were slightly weaker spat out mouthfuls of blood. Their bodies looked like they were about to shatter. Seeing this, Li Xian took a step forward and tore open the void. In an instant, he appeared before the sect master of corpse-refining sect. Seeing Li Xian appear 3 feet away from him in an instant, the sect master of corpse-refining sect was so shocked that his soul almost left his body. Having been accompanied by corpses all year round, he felt true death. Die! Without another word, Li Xian slashed down with his saber. The blood-red astral saber intertwined with runes and directly split the sect master of corpse-refining sect into 2. His physical body and primordial spirit had been completely annihilated. The second honorable expert had fallen. There was an uproar and the crowd was terrified. If they did not see it with their own eyes, who would believe that an honorable expert would die so easily? Moreover, this was already the second honorable expert that had fallen. Could it be that today is the bloody day of the burial earth burial emperor? A burial earth creature said in a daze. Damn it! Seeing that the sect master of corpse-refining sect had fallen, the Sky Spider Overlord and the others looked gloomy. On the other side, the old man Jiu Yu and the Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor, who were fighting with Ajio and the Ghost Mask Burial Emperor, looked terrible when they saw this scene. Vaguely, there was a trace of regret in their hearts. They should not have been so impulsive. Is this the strength of a junior Empyrean? The Azura Emperor, who was watching the battle from the outside, took a deep breath. There were 7 honorable realms, and each realm was a different realm. This saying was indeed true. In his opinion, those below the honorable realm were all ants. However, in the eyes of heavenly venerate-level powerhouses, supremes like them were merely slightly larger ants. On the other side, the fallen winged race's burial emperor rejoiced in his heart. Fortunately, I held back and did not take revenge. Otherwise, thinking of that possibility, the fallen winged race's burial emperor felt a lingering fear. Indeed, only those who could survive could live for a long time. As for the Rakshasa Burial Emperor and the Dead Spirit Burial Emperor, who were heavily injured by the Ghost Masked Burial Emperor, they lost their will to fight after seeing the current situation. They were considered the weaker ones among the Burial Emperors. Now, they were heavily injured. Their only choice was to escape. Although it was not glorious for the Burial Emperors, there was nothing they could do. The 2 Burial Emperors looked at each other and turned around to break through the void. Can you leave? A cold voice that was like a demon god's whisper was heard. A terrifying saber aura swept across the area. In the next moment, the two burial emperors felt a pain on their waist. Their bodies were directly split into two. At the same time, the blade aura also invaded their bodies. Their internal organs and primordial spirits were instantly crushed. The Rakshasa burial emperor and the dead spirit burial emperor had fallen. Rumble. Blood clouds piled up in the sky, and various blood-colored runes were branded in the void. This was the phenomenon of an honorable realm expert falling. Until now, Burial Realm had lost a total of 4 burial emperors. Don't hold back anymore. Go all out. He won't be able to hold on for long. Tianming Burial Emperor shouted coldly. He also noticed that the old wounds on Li Xian's body seemed to have begun to split open, and blood was oozing out. Back then, Li Xian followed Jun Xiaoyao and swept through Burial Realm. Naturally, he also encountered many strong opponents. Therefore, he was left with a body full of terrifying injuries. If it was not for Li Xian's powerful strength and his immemorial demon god bloodline, he might not have survived until now. At this moment, many old wounds on Li Xian's body burst open. Obviously, the situation was not good for him. Li Xian, don't force yourself. In the sky, Agio, who was fighting with the dragon skeleton burial emperor, shouted. As one of the king of God's 8, they naturally had a comrade-like friendship between them. Senior. Jun Xiaoyao saw this, and his face changed. He was not willing to see Jun Wuhui's old subordinates fall in front of his eyes. Jun Xiaoyao would not allow this to happen. Young lord, don't worry. This is my mission. If they dare to harm you, they will definitely die. Li Xian's black hair danced wildly, as if he was possessed. Terrifying demonic runes spread out from his body. Demon God, transformation. Li Xian roared into the sky, and the immemorial demon god bloodline was pushed to the extreme. A pair of demonic wings grew out from his back, and a demonic armor condensed on his body. Li Xian's aura did not fall, but instead rose, reaching a new height. Seeing this scene, Tianming Burial Emperor and the others were completely disappointed. No matter what would happen to Li Xian in the future, at least for now, their situation could only be described with one word. Danger. Chapter 368. Jun Wei was once the sequence 0 of the Jun family, the white-robed divine king. Not only did his talent and cultivation reach a height that ordinary people could not reach, his vision was also far beyond ordinary people. To be able to be chosen by Jun Wuhui as one of the Divine King's 8, Li Xian naturally had his merits. The immemorial demon god bloodline was only one of them. More importantly, Li Xian's loyalty and willpower made Jun Wuhui admire him greatly. Therefore, he was willing to train him. At this moment, even though Li Xian was suffering from a serious illness, he still wanted to seek justice for his master's son, Jun Xiaoyao. Using the demon god transformation, Li Xian's strength increased again. His blade slashed across the sky, cutting through the sky. Sky Demon, 7 slashes, blade of world destruction. A pitch-black blade light appeared. It was 10,000 feet long as it slashed across. This blade looked like it was going to destroy the world. All kinds of Tao of destruction appeared, as if it was going to destroy 10,000 miles of the sky. At this point in the battle, Tianming, Burial Emperor, and the others could only use their full strength to delay until Li Xian could not hold on anymore. But the problem was, they could not hold on. Li Xian, who used the demon god transformation, had a surging aura, like a demon god going crazy. Tianming, Burial Emperor, and the others who were a level lower than Li Xian naturally could not resist. They were beaten until they coughed out blood and retreated. Li Xian alone swept away the Burial Emperors, displaying the power of the Divine King's 8. Looking at these Burial Emperors who were usually high and mighty, looking down on all living things, they were now in such a sorry state. The Burial Earth creatures who were watching the battle from afar did not know what to feel. It turned out that the Burial Emperors who were high up in the clouds could also be in such a sorry state. Everyone once again recalled that Li Xian had knelt down in front of Jun Xiaoyao with one knee. Thinking about it this way, Jun Xiaoyao's status was much higher than these burial emperors, wasn't it? This is too terrifying. Not only is the Jun family son of God a monster, but the energy he can mobilize is also so terrifying. That's right. A legendary powerhouse at the Heavenly Lord level would fight to the death for him. Who else could have such treatment? Even in immortal power, a celestial venerable powerhouse had the status of an ancestor. This was a powerhouse who could be considered to have a strong foundation. But have you ever seen an old ancestor kneel to a junior disciple? Perhaps only Jun Xiaoyao, the son of the white-clothed God King, could receive such extraordinary treatment. Just as all kinds of thoughts flashed through everyone's minds, the battle over there had already reached its climax. The void was completely shattered, turning into a pitch-black space turbulence. Amidst the spatial turbulence, Li Xian killed the buried sovereign of the heaven-devouring demonic Python clan with a single slash. Then he once again activated the great divine ability of the primordial fiend celestial lineage. A devil king phantom appeared behind him, and with a slash of his saber, all 8 of Heaven Spider Demon Venerable's arms were severed. The Heavenly Spider Demon Venerable died amidst a series of roars and screams. In the end, only Tianming Burial Emperor was left holding on bitterly. Damn it, just hold on a little longer. Just hold on a little longer. Tianming Burial Emperor pushed his strength to the limit. He was also giving it his all, as long as he could hold on until Burial World broke out of its seal. Li Xian would have no way to survive when the top powerhouse of Burial World revived. Li Xian also saw through Tianming Burial Emperor's thoughts. However, would he give Tianming Burial Emperor a chance to live? Since he dared to attack Jun Xiaoyao, he should have a resolve to fight with his life. Even if he was an honorable powerhouse, it was the same. Sky Demon 7 slashes, Demon God's Saber. Li Xian held the saber with both hands, and the law of destruction wrapped around the saber. With one slash, it tore apart the vast expanse. Heaven Netherworld Reincarnation Grand Art. Tianming Burial Emperor also used his trump card. A pitch-black seal appeared, as if it had turned the world upside down, and death aura filled the universe. However, after this move, Tianming Burial Emperor's move was still broken. His entire body, together with his primordial spirit, was split into 2 and was directly destroyed by Li Xian. The top 3 powerhouses of Burial Earth 10 regions had fallen. However, Li Xian did not keep his saber. His gaze once again turned to Old Man Jiuyo and Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor. In fact, the 2 of them had wanted to leave long ago, but they were entangled by Audiobook and the ghost-masked Burial Emperor and could not escape at all. Die! Li Xian's eyes were indifferent, as if the god of death had passed through. Wherever he passed, he would reap the lives. There was no suspense. Old Man Jiuyo and Dragon Skeleton Burial Emperor could not do anything to the ghost-masked Burial Emperor and Audiobook. With Li Xian's addition, the result was obvious. These 2 honorable powerhouses followed in the footsteps of Tianming Burial Emperor and the others, and fell directly. At this point, the group of Burial Emperors who tried to kill Jun Xiaoyao had all fallen, and none of them survived. Dead silence. The entire world was deathly silent. All the living beings in Burial Earth were silent, and they did not dare to make a sound, because they were already stunned by the scene in front of them. A total of 9 Burial Emperors had fallen. This was unacceptable to the 10 regions of Burial Earth. It simply caused their souls to tremble. More than 10 years ago, there was a great calamity in Burial Earth. However, that level of calamity was not something that ordinary living beings in Burial Earth could come into contact with. Therefore, they only heard about it as a legend. And now, these 9 Burial Emperors had fallen in front of them. This kind of shock and impact was not something that hearsay could compare to. Not only these ordinary living beings, even Ashura Emperor and the fallen winged race Burial Emperor took a deep breath. As honorable powerhouses, they could not hide their shock. Li Xian's cold gaze also fell on the Shura Emperor and the fallen winged race Burial Emperor. The two powerhouses' minds instantly tensed up. The fallen winged race Burial Emperor subconsciously flapped the gray wings on his back and directly broke through the void. He ran away. Seeing the fallen winged race Burial Emperor running away in panic, all the living beings in Burial Earth were stunned. Li Xian only glanced at him, and he scared the fallen winged race Burial Emperor away. Please, are you still a Burial Emperor? All the living beings in Burial Earth's 3 views were about to collapse. How could he be called a Burial Emperor? He was more like a coward. However, this also proved that the Demon King Li Xian had a great deterrent power. Li Xian retracted his gaze. Since they did not attack Jun Xiaoyao, Li Xian was too lazy to do anything. Looking at Li Xian, who was riding on the horse, even Jiu murmured softly. Only the Demon King Li Xian can ride on the horse. This was the evaluation of Li Xian by the living beings in the Huangtian mystic realm. Who would have thought that the Demon King of this generation was actually hiding in the depths of Burial Earth with a body full of hidden injuries? At this moment, even Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a hint of admiration. His father's judgment of people was really good. Jun Xiaoyao also looked forward to when Yu, Yin Qingying, and the others grew up in the future, they would become top powerhouses like Li Xian and Agio. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have noticed something. He looked into the distance and said, "It seems that there are still some rats spying in the dark." Li Xian also said with a deep gaze, "Young master, don't worry. Those rats will not dare to show themselves. If they do, they will die." The rats they were talking about were naturally the other Burial Emperors of the 10 regions of Burial Earth. The 10 regions of Burial Earth could not only have 9 powerhouses like the Tianming Burial Emperor. Forces like the Nether King Palace and the Corpse Dragon Clan could not only have 1 Burial Emperor. However, at this moment, those Burial Emperors were spying in the dark, but they did not dare to show themselves. As for why they did not dare to show themselves, very simple. They were frightened by Li Xian's unparalleled demonic might. Chapter 369. At this moment, in the entire Burial world, there was no sound at all. All the Burial Earth living beings who were watching the show seemed to have become mutes, unable to make sound. The heavens knew that they were there to witness Jun Xiaoyao's demise. In the end, they witnessed the fall of 9 Burial Emperors. If they did not see it with their own eyes, none of the Burial Earth living beings would believe that this matter was real. Those were the high and mighty Burial Emperors who looked down on the Burial Earth. He was actually killed as if he was chopping melons and vegetables. All the Burial Earth living beings felt their scalps go numb at this moment, and their hearts felt like they had fallen into an ice cave. Jun Xiaoyao defeated the 10 minor kings with his own strength. The Son of God was invincible. As for Li Xian, he also killed 9 Burial Emperors with his own strength. His demonic aura shook the Burial Earth. Were both of them so fierce? Too strong, really too strong. Lang Huan's heart was trembling. She was not trembling because of Li Xian's demonic aura, but because of Jun Xiaoyao. The reason was simple. Li Xian was fighting for Jun Xiaoyao. In other words, Jun Xiaoyao was the root cause of the 9 Burial Emperors' death. A man not only had powerful strength, but he could also mobilize such a terrifying person to fight for him. Lang Huan was completely convinced. Only a man like Jun Xiaoyao was qualified to conquer her and win her heart. Compared to Jun Xiaoyao, even the most outstanding sky prides were like chickens and dogs, small and insignificant. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's threat was temporarily lifted. The reason why it was temporary was because there were still some Burial Emperors watching in the dark. But this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that Li Xian's condition did not seem to be good. He dispersed his demon god transformation, and the old injuries all over his body burst open. A trace of blood also flowed from the corner of his mouth. After all, Li Xian's internal injuries were very serious. Plus, he had used martial arts, so it was impossible for him to be completely fine. "Senior Li Xian, your injury." Jun Xiaoyao frowned. It doesn't matter. Li Xen may not be able to deal with the terrifying existence in the depths of the burial world, but it's not a problem for me to deal with the burial emperors of the burial Earth 10 regions. I'll kill one on sight. Li Xen deliberately said such threatening words, while his eyes swept to the distance. In an instant, the auras of the buried emperors that were hidden in the dark all retracted. Clearly, none of the buried emperors were willing to stand out at this time. Furthermore, Burial Realm was about to be unsealed. Not to mention the great terror in the depths of the Burial Realm. Just the Burial Earth Big Boss sealed under the 10,000 spirit graveyard was enough to make Li Xian suffer. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed as he looked at Li Xian's injuries. He suddenly raised his hand, and the blood in his body surged. In the end, he forced out a drop of bright golden blood from his palm. The blood seemed to contain vigorous vitality and the special mysterious power of the sacred body of the ancients. Young master, this is... Li Xian's expression turned serious. This is the blood essence of the sacred body of the ancients. It should be helpful for the hidden injuries of your physical body, Jun Xiaoyao said. The sacred body of the ancients itself could also be regarded as a great medicine of flesh and blood. Every drop of blood was extremely precious, not to mention the condensed blood essence. In addition, Jun Xiaoyao had the sacred body of the ancients that had broken the 10 shackles. Therefore, the condensed blood essence of the sacred body had a richer and purer energy. It should be helpful for the recovery of Li Xian's physical body. Young master, this can't. Li Xian was just about to refuse when he saw Jun Xiaoyao's irrefutable eyes. That kind of eyes were deep and firm. In a trance, Li Xian seemed to have seen his former master. That gaze was almost exactly the same. Thank you for your gift, young master. Li Xian didn't say anything. He silently accepted it and directly refined it. A vigorous vitality surged in Li Xian's body. His physical condition quickly stabilized. Although the hidden injuries couldn't be directly healed, at least they wouldn't worsen. Young master, you can leave for now. The burial realm is about to change. Li Xian's face was solemn. Even with his cultivation as a lesser celestial lord, he had such an expression. It was obvious that the situation was indeed not good. The entire reincarnation pool was the center of the burial realm's seal. Now that it had been damaged and couldn't be repaired, the seal would collapse. However, at the moment, even Li Xian didn't have the ability to repair the seal. If the burial realm broke the seal, the first to bear the brunt would probably be Jun Xiaoyao and the others. Then it would be the Jun family. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. He said, Senior Li Xian, is father guarding the depths of the burial realm? When he asked this question, even with Jun Xiaoyao's calm personality, he couldn't help but feel his heart skip a beat. After all, Jun Xiaoyao had never seen his chief father since he was born. He was no longer in the Jianghu, but there had always been legends about him. Yes and no, Li Xian said. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a strange look. What did this mean? The Jun family didn't tell young master because they didn't want young master to bear too much pressure now. When the time comes, young master will naturally know everything, Li Xian said. Jun Xiaoyao heard this and nodded slightly. He didn't force Li Xian to say anything. But what is certain is that Lord is a hero. Li Xian's tone was deep and firm. Jun Xiaoyao sighed slightly. Since ancient times, heroes don't live forever. If possible, I would prefer father to be an ambitious and ruthless person. Jun Xiaoyao wasn't the kind of hero who selflessly contributed. On the contrary, Jun Xiaoyao's personality was cold and selfish. He would only do things that benefited himself. Of course, the greater the power, the greater the responsibility. If in the future, Jun Xiaoyao was strong enough to ignore all rules, then it wasn't impossible to save the world while he was at it. But now, the most important thing was the burial realm's seal. Young master, please leave. Li Xian cupped his hands. He himself wouldn't leave. He would stay here forever. Young master, let's go. Zhou also came to Jun Xiaoyao's side. In this situation, even Li Xian couldn't do anything. It was even more impossible for Jun Xiaoyao to change anything. It seems that the June family son of God is going to leave. Of course he has to leave. If he doesn't leave, will he be killed by the burial realm's big shot? The burial realm creatures in the distance whispered to each other. In this situation, no matter what, June Xiaoyao couldn't stay. Not to mention the burial realm's big shot who was about to break the seal. Even the burial realm's emperor who was hibernating in the dark hated June Xiaoyao to the bone. If there was a chance, they wouldn't mind making a move. Leave? Why should I leave? I still want to cultivate and break through in the living reincarnation pool, June Xiaoyao said lightly. He had already made the decision to cultivate in the living reincarnation pool. In the immortal ancient world, opportunities like this were rare. June Xiaoyao naturally wouldn't miss it. Young master, please reconsider, Li Xian said. Now wasn't the time to be brave. June Xiaoyao smiled and shook his head. He naturally wouldn't act like a hero. There was no way June Xiaoyao would do something as foolish as putting his life on the line. What if I say that I can seal the burial realm again? As soon as June Xiaoyao said that, the already quiet place became so quiet that one could even hear a pin drop. The June family son of God said, "He can seal the burial realm?" The burial realm creatures were dumbfounded. Chapter 370. Hearing June Xiaoyao's words, the group of burial earth creatures was dumbfounded. Sealing burial realm? What a joke. Did he think that burial realm could be sealed just because he wanted to? Now that burial realm was about to be unsealed. Unless Jun Wuhui appeared again, who could seal burial realm? Not only the burial earth creatures, but even some of the burial earth emperors hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity, were stunned. Please, can't you write a draft for bragging? Although they admitted that June Xiaoyao was very monstrous and might become a top expert in the future. The problem was that June Xiaoyao was only in the Divine Flame Realm. A Divine Flame Realm Junior wanted to seal Burial Realm? He was crazy. Is this a joke? That's right, it's definitely a joke. How is that possible? All the Burial Earth creatures shook their heads. This bragging was too big. Not to mention the Burial Earth creatures. Even Li Xian and Agio were stunned. To be honest, if the one who said this was not June Xiaoyao, but someone else, they would definitely look at each other as if they were fools. However, since it was June Xiaoyao who said it, Li Xian naturally wouldn't mock him. Instead, he cupped his hands and said, "Young master, this is not a joke." "I understand. Do I look like I'm joking?" June Xiaoyao's expression was calm. He didn't look like he was joking at all. "Young master, are you confident?" Although he felt that it wasn't very likely, Li Xian still asked. He definitely didn't want Burial Realm to be unsealed. "I'm confident, but I need your help." June Xiaoyao took a deep breath and said, "If young master has any orders, Li Xian will definitely do it." Li Xian and Agio had no problem. June Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a trace of thought. He looked at the sky again, at the ghost-masked Burial Earth Emperor who didn't say a word. "I also need your help," June Xiaoyao said, looking at the ghost-masked Burial Earth Emperor. He wasn't sure if the ghost-masked Burial Earth Emperor would help him, but he still had to ask. Seeing June Xiaoyao asking for help from the ghost-masked Burial Queen, the rest of the Burial Earth creatures widened their eyes. The ghost-masked female Burial Emperor, her personality was famous for being aloof and cold. How could she possibly have such a kind action of helping others? However, what made everyone dumbstruck was that the ghost-masked female Burial Emperor's eyes flickered slightly under the mask, and then she nodded. F***CK. This is a world that only cares about looks. A group of Burial Earthmen were jealous. In their eyes, this arrogant and indifferent iceberg goddess-level figure. Why is June Xiaoyao so fond? This was intolerable. June Xiaoyao smiled at the ghost-masked female Burial Emperor. That smile was peerlessly handsome. Even the ghost-masked female Burial Emperor was momentarily dazed. She wasn't a fan of looks, but this smile seemed to overlap with the blurry smile in her memory. To tell you the truth, I have mastered a sealing technique. However, with my own strength, it is obviously impossible for me to completely unleash its effects, let alone seal the burial realm. So, I need you to lend me your magic power and inject it into my body, June Xiaoyao said. The sealing technique he was talking about was naturally the reward for signing in the 7 seals against immortals. This sealing technique was mysterious and unpredictable, and its power was extremely strong. Unfortunately, Jun Xiaoyao could only release one layer of the seal with his own strength, and this was far from being able to seal the entire burial realm. As for why Jun Xiaoyao didn't directly impart the 7 seals against immortals to Li Xian and the others, this wasn't because Jun Xiaoyao was stingy and unwilling to give it. It was because the 7 seals against immortals were extremely complicated. Even if he gave it to Li Xian, he wouldn't be able to use it in a short time. And because it was a reward for signing in, Jun Xiaoyao directly comprehended it and mastered it. The current situation was critical, so it was naturally impossible to wait for Li Xian to comprehend the 7 seals against immortals. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao could only rely on the power of Li Xian and the others. No, young master, your body can't withstand the infusion of our magic power. Li Xian heard this and shook his head slightly. Audiobook also shook his head. This idea was too crazy. It doesn't matter. I have the sacred body of the ancients. After a long time of tempering, my physical body is able to withstand the power of magic power far beyond my cultivation level, Jun Xiaoyao said in a firm tone. Not only did he have the sacred body of the ancients, but he also had the sacred body of the ancients that had broken through 10 layers of shackles. His physical body was able to withstand the infusion of magic power more than 10,000 times. Only in this way could the power of the 7 seals against immortals possibly seal the entire burial realm. Young master, Li Xian, Audiobook, and the others didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to take the risk. Jun Xiaoyao took a deep breath and said in a calm tone, "If my father was here, what would he choose? Would he run away directly, or would he give it his all?" Jun Xiaoyao's words made Li Xian and Audiobook completely speechless. At this moment, in their eyes, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to be slowly merging with the white-robed figure that suppressed the heavens. He was the white-robed God King. The white-robed God King was him. Okay, Li Xian agreed. Audiobook could only nod silently. The ghost-masked burial emperor was also a little hesitant. After a long time, she spat out 4 cold and vague words from under the mask. Be careful. These words made Jun Xiaoyao's eyes reveal a hint of surprise. This ice-cold, murderous female burial emperor was actually concerned about others. Could it be that she was the iceberg type of Tsundra? After making a thorough decision, Jun Xiaoyao was also ready to make his move. He stepped into the sky step by step. As far as the eye could see, the entire burial realm was under his feet. The depths of the burial realm were hazy. Even Jun Xiaoyao couldn't see clearly. Would his father, Jun Wuhui, be in there? Father, if you're here, then I'll show you my ability. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand. Divine runes began to spread out from between his fingers. Those patterns intertwined in the void, like the traces of the movement of the stars in the sky, complicated and mysterious to the extreme. What a complicated divine pattern. Even Li Xian and Audiobook were surprised when they saw it. How could Jun Xiaoyao control such a complicated divine pattern? Young master will be incredible in the future. Li Xian sighed slightly. In his eyes, Jun Wuhui was already a godlike existence. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, might even surpass his father in the end. Then what is the son of God of the Jun family doing? Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's actions, the burial realm creatures present were puzzled. Could it be that the son of God of the Jun family wants to seal the burial realm himself? Some of the burial realm creatures muttered. This was too puzzling. It was simply an act of confusion. Just as everyone was watching, Jun Xiaoyao's first seal of the 7 seals of immortal taboo was completed. As far as the eye could see, countless dense divine patterns intertwined in the void, as if forming a large net that covered the world. Just the first layer of the seal was already extremely shocking. It had a terrifying might that could seal the heavens and the earth. So terrifying. What kind of great divine ability is that? Heavens, why do I feel like the death chi in my body is being suppressed? As soon as Jun Xiaoyao made his move, everyone was terrified. This kind of terrifying power seemed to be able to confine and seal heaven and earth. And this was only the first seal of the 7 seals of a mortal taboo. Everyone, now is the time, Jun Xiaoyao said. With his current strength, he could only unleash the first seal. Li Xian, Jiu, and the Burial Realm Queen saw this and made their moves at the same time. Surging magic power directly poured into Jun Xiaoyao's body. When the other living beings saw this scene, they almost stopped breathing. Was Jun Xiaoyao crazy? Chapter 371. The burial earth creatures present were not stupid. They could also see Jun Xiaoyao's move. Jun Xiaoyao controlled a terrifying sealing technique. However, with his own strength, he could not fully unleash the power of this sealing technique. Therefore, he needed to borrow the strength of Li Xian and the others. However, this was the most shocking part. Jun Xiaoyao was only at the divine fire realm, but he had to withstand the infusion of Li Xian and other top powerhouses. Logically speaking, this was simply impossible. The body of a divine fire realm cultivator was like a kettle, and the cultivation of Li Xian and other powerhouses was like a boundless ocean. If Li Xian and the others poured their magic power into Jun Xiaoyao's body, the most likely thing that would happen was that Jun Xiaoyao's body would explode and he would die. It was precisely because of this that all the burial earth creatures thought that Jun Xiaoyao was crazy. Only a madman would come up with such a crazy idea. The son of God of the Jun family could have left safely, but he chose to court death. He's really crazy. Yeah, with such a talented cultivation, he didn't care about his life and took such a risk. All the burial earth creatures couldn't understand. It's good that he's dead. At least our burial earth's reputation can be salvaged a little. There are also burial earth creatures watching coldly from the sidelines. In the dark, some burial earth emperors were also communicating with their divine sense. They were all very surprised and observing the situation. Li Xian was a lesser heavenly venerable. The ghost-masked burial emperor was a peak supreme, and Jiu was also a quasi-supreme. The 3 of them attacked at the same time. One could imagine the magic power fluctuations that could overturn heaven and earth. Although this kind of magic power wave was not offensive, just the degree of majesty was enough to explode the bodies of thousands of divine fire realm geniuses. Boom! Terrifying magic power surged like a tide, pouring into Jun Xiaoyao's body. Jun Xiaoyao felt as if there was an endless power erupting in his body. In an instant, he used the second seal of the 7 seals against immortals. Heaven and earth seemed to have turned into a cage. With the infusion of mana, Jun Xiaoyao's body began to turn crimson red. That was a sign that mana was about to overflow and break out of his body. Young master, Aju's expression changed slightly when she saw this. She had been guarding Jun Xiaoyao for the longest time. After all, she was his guardian. When she saw that Jun Xiaoyao was in a bad situation, her heart trembled. No problem, continue. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was firm. He pushed the power of the sacred body of the ancients to the extreme. He was born with the sacred body of the ancients, which had broken through all 10 shackles. His physical body was extremely tough, and the amount of mana he could contain was far greater than that of geniuses of the same level. Oh my God, he actually withstood it. The Jun family son of God's body didn't explode. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao safe and sound, the living beings of the burial ground were left speechless. His neck felt like it was being strangled by a pair of invisible hands. Is there anything that the young master can't do? Lang Huan and Qin Xiener didn't know what to say. It seemed that in front of Jun Xiaoyao, no problem was a problem. If this child can grow up safely, I'm afraid he will be another white-robed god king in the future. No, he might even be stronger. The Shura monarch also sighed with mixed feelings. He even seemed to see the horrifying scene of the burial ground being destroyed by Jun Xiaoyao in the future. As for the burial emperors who were hiding in the dark, they were also shocked, speechless. A junior that they didn't take seriously had done something that they didn't dare to imagine. The third layer. Jun Xiaoyao continued to use the seven seals of prohibition. Although to the outside world, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to be safe and sound. Only Jun Xiaoyao himself knew how dangerous it was to do such a thing. If he was not careful, his body would explode and he would die. Other than Jun Xiaoyao, no one else dared to do so. Senior Li Xian, you don't have to worry. Continue to increase your magical power, Jun Xiaoyao said again. Seeing this, Li Xian and the others could only increase their magical power output. An even more vast and terrifying wave of magical power surged into Jun Xiaoyao's body. Jun Xiaoyao instantly felt a tearing sensation, as if his body was about to be torn apart. Immortal bones of the great, all-embracing heaven. Jun Xiaoyao activated the power of the immortal bones of the great, all-embracing heaven again. Suddenly, the 160 immortal bones of the great, all-embracing heaven that had been refined all over his body released immortal light at the same time. These immortal bones of the great, all-embracing heaven were like nodes that stabilized Jun Xiaoyao's body so that it would not collapse. This was also why Jun Xiaoyao was so confident. Not only did he have the sacred body of the ancients, but he also cultivated one of the 9 great heavenly books, the immortal body of the great, all-embracing heaven. It was because of his confidence that Jun Xiaoyao dared to do such a crazy thing. Otherwise, why would Jun Xiaoyao risk his life? Jun Xiaoyao would not do something like putting his life on the line. The 4th seal. Jun Xiaoyao continued to activate the 7 seals of the great, all-embracing heaven, and the 4th seal was strengthened again. Its power was so strong that it sealed the sky and the earth and confined all directions. Even the seal of the burial realm, which was originally on the verge of collapse, seemed to be slowing down under this reinforcement. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao, it seemed that it was really possible for him to seal the burial realm again. The whole place was silent. All the creatures of the burial realm seemed to have a premonition in their hearts. Today, they might be witnessing an impossible miracle again. The 5th seal. When Jun Xiaoyao used the 5th seal of the 7 seals of the great, all-embracing heaven, all the creatures could feel that the entire burial realm seemed to be isolated by a pair of invisible hands. Go quickly! A creature of the burial realm suddenly shouted. If they continue to stay here, they might be sealed in the burial realm forever, unable to leave. As this voice spread out, all the creatures of the burial realm hurriedly retreated. Those creatures of the burial realm who were watching the show, mocking and coldly from the sidelines, now had a look of panic on their faces as they swarmed out of the burial realm. Damn it, the burial realm has been broken. Is it going to fail? In the dark, the burial realm's divine sense intertwined. However, they did not dare to show up to stop Jun Xiaoyao, because the great demon Li Xian was still there. The 9 burial emperors had just fallen, so the remaining burial emperors naturally would not take the initiative to send themselves to death. The 6th seal. Jun Xiaoyao's body began to tremble slightly, and his body showed signs of collapsing. However, he also used the 6th seal of the 7 seals of the 7 seals of the great, all-embracing heaven. There were millions of divine runes of various colors, intertwining in the void, turning the burial realm into a forbidden zone. Not only was the world sealed, even the various laws seemed to be imprisoned. This kind of terrifying seal made Li Xian's eyes flash with surprise. This kind of sealing technique was too powerful. When fully used, it could easily seal a supreme being. It's about time. Jun Xiaoyao let out a deep breath and began to withdraw. It was too difficult to use the 7th seal of the great, all-embracing heaven. Moreover, with the current Jun Xiaoyao, even with the help of Li Xian and the others, it was difficult to use the 7th seal. However, the 6th seal of the great, all-embracing heaven was enough to seal the entire burial realm. After all, the previous seal was only on the verge of collapse, not completely. It worked, until now Li Xian was still in a trance. The burial realm, which was about to break its seal, was sealed once again by Jun Xiaoyao's efforts. Vaguely, one could hear a terrifying roar of unwillingness under the 10,000 spirits graveyard. It was the big boss of the burial realm that was sealed under the 10,000 spirits graveyard. It originally had the hope of breaking the seal, but in the end, it was blocked by Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao once again created an impossible miracle. Chapter 372. The originally trembling burial realm once again fell into silence. Although the 6 seals couldn't seal the burial realm forever, it was no problem to maintain it for at least a few decades or 100 years. Although for cultivators, a few decades or 100 years wasn't considered long. But at that time, Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation would have probably reached an extremely terrifying level. At that time, wouldn't it be easy to sweep through the burial realm? Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao didn't care if the sealing time was too short. As long as he was given time, even if the burial realm broke the seal, he could still suppress everything. Seeing burial realm being sealed again, the creatures of burial earth who had already escaped felt all sorts of mixed feelings. Who would have thought that the burial realm that was destined to break the seal would be sealed again by Jun Xiaoyao alone? He had done what his father had done before. Like father, like son, this saying was true. Young master's methods. Li Xian is impressed. Li Xian cupped his fists and was really convinced. Although Li Xian agreed before, he more or less had some doubts in his heart. But now, all the problems had vanished into thin air. No need to be like this. This burial realm wasn't sealed by me alone, but by the strength of everyone. Jun Xiaoyao didn't take all the credit for himself. Now that the crisis was resolved and the burial realm was sealed, Jun Xiaoyao also obtained the 9 Wonders Reincarnation and Mortal Grass. This trip to the eternal burial realm could be considered to have ended perfectly. Jun Xiaoyao's goals were all achieved, but Jun Xiaoyao wasn't prepared to leave directly. Instead, he wanted to digest the great opportunity of the living being's reincarnation pool. Next, Jun Xiaoyao also asked Li Xian and the others for their thoughts. Li Xian still wanted to continue guarding the 10,000 spirits graveyard. Jun Xiaoyao didn't advise anything. This was Li Xian's display of loyalty. Moreover, the burial realm indeed needed a powerhouse to guard it. If there were any problems, they could be contacted in time. Jun Xiaoyao's gaze looked into the depths of the burial realm. Although Li Xian didn't tell him the secrets of the burial realm. However, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to be able to see his father, God King Jun Wuhui. Back then, he had single-handedly swept through the burial realm, fighting against the great terror within. Jun Xiaoyao was indeed very strong now, but he was only invincible among the younger generation. What Jun Xiaoyao needed to do next was to surpass his peers step by step and even compete with the experts of the older generation. One of these days, I'll go deep into the burial world and meet those terrifying existences. There's also the reason why the eternal burial earth was created and why Father sealed the burial realm away. I will unravel these secrets one day. Jun Xiaoyao swore in his heart. With his current strength, even if he knew the secret of burial realm, he still wouldn't be able to help Jun Wuhui. Therefore, becoming stronger was the only thing Jun Xiaoyao needed to do. After the burial realm was sealed, the creatures in the outside world didn't leave. They were still immersed in shock. A self-deprecating smile appeared on Lang Huan's face. "Your Highness, what's wrong?" Qin Sienna noticed and asked with concern. "Sienna, I thought that I was good enough for young Master Jun. Now, it seems that I thought too highly of myself." Lang Huan smiled bitterly and shook her head. It was hard to imagine that Lang Huan, who was ranked second on the Burial Earth Beauty list, could say such words. Qin Sienna wanted to comfort her, but she found that it was indeed the case. Jun Xiaoyao's excellence left them in the dust. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao prepared to enter the reincarnation pool to cultivate. However, before that, he looked at the ghost-masked Burial Emperor. Previously, the ghost-masked Burial Emperor said that she had something to talk to him about. When the ghost-masked Burial Emperor saw Jun Xiaoyao's gaze, she turned and walked away. Jun Xiaoyao also followed. Li Xian and Jiao were tactful and didn't ask anything. In a quiet place, the ghost-masked Burial Emperor stopped. Jun Xiaoyao also stopped at the same time. "I'm curious. Who are you?" The ghost-masked Burial Emperor had her back, facing Jun Xiaoyao, as she asked. The Burial Emperor was wearing a black dress. She was tall and slender, like a mysterious and magnificent black rose. Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao said word by word. Really? The ghost-masked Burial Emperor asked. Otherwise, Jun Xiaoyao said, when I woke up from my slumber, I was already a powerful Burial Emperor. However, in my memory, there were some scenes. Was it my previous life or something else? The ghost-masked Burial Emperor asked. Jun Xiaoyao didn't really understand the relationship between the ghost-masked Burial Emperor and the ghost-masked girl and the ghost-masked woman. However, they had one thing in common, which was that they could use the power of the red spider lily. As for the red spider lily, Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but think of the foreign realm. It was rumored that in the foreign realm, there was an emperor clan called the red spider lily. It was a plant-type power, and its main body was the red spider lily that bloomed in the Yellow Springs. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't know much about the foreign realm, so he couldn't deduce anything. Karma is intertwined. Whether it's true or false, I don't know either. However, I can promise that if I find out the truth in the future, I will definitely come and find you. Jun Xiaoyao said. Since the ghost-masked Burial Emperor had extended a helping hand, Jun Xiaoyao would naturally return the favor. In the future, if he found out the truth about the ghost mask girl, he would naturally tell her. However, I have another request. The ghost-masked Burial Emperor suddenly spoke. However, her tone was a little unnatural and intermittent, as if she had lost some of her previous coldness. What is it? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed doubt. There was something wrong with the ghost-masked Burial Emperor's tone. Can you hug this emperor? When the ghost-masked Burial Emperor said this, her back was still facing Jun Xiaoyao. However, that slightly trembling voice clearly showed that the Burial Emperor's heart was not calm. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was rather stunned. He never thought that the ghost-masked Burial Emperor would actually make such a request. What kind of existence was the ghost-masked Burial Emperor? The strongest expert of the Burial Earth 10 regions, the noble and cold Ice Queen. She was an existence that all the men in the Burial Earth 10 regions feared and admired. This kind of ruthless Ice Queen actually asked for a hug. This was too much of a contrast, right? If the other creatures of the Burial Earth saw this scene, they would probably doubt their lives. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but think that the ghost-masked Burial Emperor might really be an iceberg type of tsundere. If you don't want to, then forget it. The ghost-masked Burial Emperor's figure moved and was about to leave. Wait, Jun Xiaoyao spoke. The Burial Emperor stopped in her tracks. If the queen is willing to lend a helping hand, I am grateful. This matter is just a small matter. Jun Xiaoyao said. As long as she didn't covet his body, anything was fine. Hugging wouldn't make her pregnant. Jun Xiaoyao stepped forward and hesitated for a moment, but he still gently wrapped his arms around the Burial Emperor's waist. If it was anyone else who had the chance to get close to the Burial Emperor, they would probably be extremely excited and wouldn't even be able to control their hands. However, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was very calm, without any excitement. The Burial Emperor's body was very cold, like a piece of ice. When Jun Xiaoyao hugged her, her jade-like body trembled slightly, as if she had been electrocuted. A warmth that he hadn't felt in a long time spread out. However, in the next moment, Jun Xiaoyao let go of his hand. There was a trace of inexplicable disappointment in the Burial Emperor's heart. However, she still said, "Thank you. When I find out the truth in the future, I will come and find you again." Jun Xiaoyao turned around and left without any reluctance. After a long while, the ghost-masked Burial Emperor sighed faintly. She lifted the ghost mask on her face slightly with one hand. The corner of her jade-like face under the mask was already bright red. The ghost-masked Burial Emperor would also blush. The red spider lily blooms in the seven-colored sky. The flower falls and becomes an immortal for 1,000 years. I don't want to become an immortal. I only want to wait for your return in the vast, mortal world. The female Burial Empress put on the ghost face mask again. Her body moved and disappeared without a trace. Chapter 373. After the matter of the female Burial Emperor was over, Jun Xiaoyao also returned to the pool of reincarnation. This was because the burial realm was sealed by Jun Xiaoyao with the 6 seals against immortals. Therefore, as long as Jun Xiaoyao was willing, he could let anyone enter and exit the burial realm freely. Li Xian had to guard the all-spirits graveyard as the tomb keeper. Ajio naturally followed Jun Xiaoyao. She would leave whenever Jun Xiaoyao left. After solving all the problems, Jun Xiaoyao could also cultivate and break through in the pool of reincarnation with peace of mind. Jun Xiaoyao had a hunch that this cultivation would be a great improvement for him. Other people breaking through realms were like constipation, but Jun Xiaoyao was like a waterfall. The reason why Jun Xiaoyao was confident was that the energy of the pool of reincarnation was extremely pure and strange. He also asked Li Xian. This pool of reincarnation seemed to be built by some great horror in the depths of the burial realm a long time ago. Jun Xiaoyao directly entered the pool of reincarnation, then used the god-devouring demonic technique and a heaven and earth furnace to begin absorbing and refining the entire pool of reincarnation. Ordinary geniuses might not be able to absorb any more after absorbing a very small portion. Jun Xiaoyao's physical body, however, allowed him to almost digest the entire pool of reincarnation. After all, although the sacred body of the ancients was powerful, it consumed more resources to break through realms. This pool of reincarnation could solve this problem. As Jun Xiaoyao immersed himself in cultivation, the entire burial realm finally fell into peace. However, the entire 10 regions of the eternal burial realm could not calm down. After all, the things that happened in the burial realm were too big. Jun Xiaoyao killed the celestial tyrant body. The burial realm was broken, and the burial emperors were born. The tomb keeper, Li Xian, one of the king of God's 8, appeared. 9 burial emperors fell. In the end, the burial realm was sealed again by Jun Xiaoyao. Each and every one of these incidents, individually, was enough to shake the world. Not to mention that it happened all at once. This kind of explosive news was enough to turn the entire burial ground upside down. During this period of time, all living beings in the 10 realms of burial earth referred to him as the son of God of the Jun clan. Now, Jun Xiaoyao was not only famous in the Huangtian mystic realm, but also in the eternal burial ground. His actions would be recorded in the epic of the burial earth. The attitude of the burial earth beings towards Jun Xiaoyao was no longer hatred. It was powerlessness. That's right. It was a sense of helplessness that came from the bottom of his heart. No one in the younger generation was a match for Jun Xiaoyao. As for the older generation experts, they were protected by Li Xian, the ghost masked woman, and the burial emperor. The entire 10 regions of burial earth couldn't do anything to Jun Xiaoyao. It was hard to imagine that the Jun Xiaoyao, who was only at the divine flame realm, actually made the entire eternal burial earth powerless. No one dared to provoke Jun Xiaoyao after they accepted the reality of the situation. Even the other burial emperors of the Nether King Palace, the Corpse Dragon clan, and other forces didn't think of revenge. The only chance for revenge was to wait for the day when the burial realm was completely unsealed. In the blink of an eye, several months had passed. The storm in the entire 10 regions of burial earth gradually calmed down. Jun Xiaoyao had become the most talked about topic of the burial earth beings. At this moment, the atmosphere in the Huangtian mystic realm was subtle. Because the eternal burial earth was isolated from the Huangtian mystic realm. Therefore, it was impossible for the major events that happened in the burial earth to spread to the Huangtian mystic realm. In addition, several months had passed. Many people guessed that Jun Xiaoyao had met with an accident in the eternal burial earth. This guess was very reasonable and normal. After all, the eternal burial earth was a taboo land for the people of the mystic realm. However, recently, the news of Jun Xiaoyao's death in the burial earth suddenly spread. It seemed that there was a hidden hand behind the scenes pushing the public opinion. Did the son of God of the Jun family really die in the eternal burial earth? It's impossible. It's been a few months, and he hasn't come out yet. The immortal ancient world is about to open. Indeed, with the son of God of the Jun family's personality, he definitely wouldn't miss the immortal ancient world. But he hasn't come out yet. That must be a big problem. What a pity. A heaven's favorite who could have dominated this era lost his future because of his own recklessness. More and more places in the 3,000 mystical states of the Huangtian mystic realm were discussing this matter. Although some people didn't quite believe it, Jun Xiaoyao hadn't appeared for a few months after all. As the most famous and eye-catching genius in the Huangtian mystic realm, the fact that there was no news of him for a few months meant a lot. This feeling was like a popular celebrity who was on the hot search list every day suddenly disappeared for a few months. Everyone would think that there was an accident. Qingzhou, the Jiang family of the ancients' residence. Many members of the Jiang family were discussing this matter in private. However, the upper echelons of the Jiang family didn't say anything. The young master will be fine. That's right. With the young master's strength, he can do well even in the eternal burial earth. None of the members of the Jiang family believed the rumors. In their eyes, Jun Xiaoyao was an invincible existence. Moreover, if something really happened to Jun Xiaoyao, the first one who couldn't sit still would be Jiang Daoxiu and the others. But now, the entire Jiang family was very calm. On a cliff, a peerless beauty in snow-white clothes stood in the wind. She was like a jade tree piled with snow. The breeze blew the hair on her temples, dazzling her picturesque face. Her limpid eyes stared at the far west in a daze. That direction was the direction of the barbarian state, which was also the direction of the eternal burial earth. This woman was Jiang Xingyi. When she didn't have any worries in her heart, Jiang Xingyi cultivated wholeheartedly. She never knew what it meant to pass a day like a year. But now, Jiang Xingyi experienced it. Jiang Xingyi knew in her heart that Jun Xiaoyao should be fine now, but she was still worried in her heart. Suddenly, a mumbling voice sounded behind her. "Sister Xingyi, are you spacing out again?" Luoli. Jiang Xingyi retracted her gaze. The voice of the petite Linglong behind her was Jiang Luoli. She sat on the edge of the cliff and rested her chin on her hand. She also looked toward the far west. The immortal ancient world is about to open. Big brother Xiaoyao hasn't returned yet. "Don't worry, Xiaoyao will be fine," Jiang Xingyi said confidently. Jiang Luoli suddenly said, "Sister Xingyi, big brother Xiaoyao seems to be very good to you. Previously, when the Long family's young emperor wanted to marry you, big brother Xiaoyao was the first to stand up and oppose it." Jiang Luoli's words made Jiang Xingyi's heart skip a beat. If it were someone else, Xiaoyao would probably do the same, Jiang Xingyi said with a forced smile. Jiang Luoli's big eyes turned slightly. She nodded and said, "Yes, big brother Xiaoyao is actually such a person who is cold on the outside but warm on the inside. So, Luoli will never let go." Jiang Luoli stood up and patted the dust off her skirt. She gave Jiang Xingyi a big smile. 2 deep dimples appeared on her cheeks. Then, Jiang Luoli left. Did this girl notice? Jiang Xingyi looked at Jiang Luoli's back as she skipped away. Her expression was gloomy. Chapter 374. Jiang Luoli might seem like a naive girl in front of Jun Xiaoyao, but that didn't mean that Jiang Luoli was stupid. On the contrary, she was very smart. She might have sensed something. Jiang Xingyi found it hard to say. After all, she and Jiang Luoli were very close. They were like sisters. Moreover, it was indeed Jiang Luoli who had taken a liking to Jun Xiaoyao first. All in all, the situation was very complicated. A triangle might not be stable. A polygon was even more impossible. Forget it. I just hope that Xiaoyao can make it back before the immortal ancient world opens, Jiang Xingyi prayed in her heart. The immortal ancient world was one of the most important opportunities before the Emperor Road opened. It was also the best opportunity for the current generation of Sky Prides to improve their strength. If Jun Xiaoyao missed this opportunity, he would be slower than others. This was something that Jiang Xingyi didn't want to see. To a large extent, Jun Xiaoyao went to the burial ground because of her. On the other side of the Jiang family, Hua Yuanxiu and Jiang Chuan were cultivating. The immortal ancient world is about to open. If Jun Xiaoyao can't make it back in time, it will be troublesome, Hua Yuanxiu said with a faint smile. Why do I feel like you're gloating? Jiang Chuan frowned and said coldly. Jun Xiaoyao was not only the son of God of the Jun family, but also the young master of the Jiang family. Hua Yuanxiu wasn't worried at all. Instead, he had such an attitude. Of course not. I also hope that he can gain something in the burial ground. It would be best if he can break through to the true immortal realm. That way, he won't have to come to the immortal ancient world. Hua Yuanxiu laughed. No matter how one listened to it, those words sounded strange and sarcastic. Are you being sarcastic? When the young master entered the burial ground, he was only in the heaven ascension realm. The environment of the burial ground is not suitable for humans in the immortal realm to cultivate. How could he reach the true immortal realm? Jiang Chuan frowned even more. Hua Yuanxiu was an old man. Aren't I just following your wishes? In your eyes, Jun Xiaoyao is an invincible existence in the younger generation. So what if he breaks through to the true divinity boundary? Maybe he can even defeat all the prodigies in the burial ground and turn the burial ground upside down. Who knows, he might even be powerful enough to kill a burial earth supreme being. Hua Yuanxiu's tone was dripping with sarcasm. In the end, he couldn't help but sneer. You are too much. Jiang Chuan stood up and left. Hua Yuanxiu's mockery was truly disgusting. Looking at Jiang Chuan's departing figure, Hua Yuanxiu's face darkened. Ever since Jun Xiaoyao came, Chuan no longer treated me like she used to. Although Jiang Chuan had not been intimate with Hua Yuanxiu in the past, her attitude towards him was not bad. Ever since Jun Xiaoyao had arrived and defeated him in one move, he had been in a daze. Jiang Chuan was getting colder and colder towards Hua Yuanxiu. This made Hua Yuanxiu extremely unhappy. Jun Xiaoyao, I hope you will never leave the burial ground. This way, after the immortal ancient world, the position of young master will still fall to me, and Chu Han will still be willing to marry me. Hua Yuanxiu's eyes were deep. The entire Jiang family was peaceful. The Jun family was also peaceful, although the outside world was full of rumors, saying that Jun Xiaoyao had died in the burial ground. However, no one in the Jun family believed it. Their recognition and trust of Jun Xiaoyao would not be shaken by any rumors. Jun Xiaoyao's followers, Yu, Yin Qingying, and the others were also cultivating and preparing for the immortal ancient world. The 10 sequences of the Jun family were also cultivating in seclusion and preparing seriously. The immortal ancient world was a great opportunity. If they didn't take advantage of this opportunity to grow, they would fall behind when the Emperor Road opened. This was an era of great competition, far more intense than any previous era. When the time came, all kinds of ancient freaks, the sleeping princes, and the descendants of ancient emperors would appear. The current generation of geniuses would be severely suppressed. Without a great opportunity, it would be difficult to compete with those geniuses. Of course, everyone couldn't help but think of Jun Xiaoyao. Among all the geniuses, he was the youngest. However, even the ancient freaks were defeated by him. If the son of God of the Jun family doesn't participate in the immortal ancient world, his legend of being invincible among the younger generation may be shattered. One wrong step leads to many wrong steps. The son of God of the Jun family has chosen the path that he shouldn't have chosen. The atmosphere in the entire Huangtian mystic realm was not calm. After another 2 months, many illusions suddenly appeared in the sky above the 3,000 mystical states of the Huangtian mystic realm. These illusions seemed to be a small world full of celestial qi. There were plains, mountains, deserts, broken palaces, ancient forbidden lands, strange beasts, and so on. This scene was like a mirage, and it was extremely strange. This is the mirage of the immortal ancient world. This is the sign of the opening of the immortal ancient world. Many old antiques looked up at the mirage in the sky and mumbled to themselves. Before the opening of the immortal ancient world, such mirages would appear. Within a few months, the entrance to the immortal ancient world would open. With the appearance of the mirage of the immortal ancient world, the entire Huangtian mystic realm was in an uproar. The geniuses of a younger generation were all eager to fight in the immortal ancient world. They were ready to show off their skills and seize the great opportunity. Not to mention becoming a saint directly, they had at least break through to the true God realm to be qualified to compete on the Emperor Road. With the opening of the immortal ancient world, geniuses and hidden talents of various forces also appeared one after another. There was a prince of a certain royal family who had cultivated the imperial dragon chi. The dragon chi stretched for 30,000 miles, shocking many mystical states around. There was a saintess of a terrifying sect who showed mercy to the world, attracting countless geniuses to follow her. There were also people who saw a young man standing on a high mountain, drawing the power of thunder from the 9 heavens to temper his body. Some people recognized that he was a genius hidden in the Thunder Emperor Mountain who had mastered an incomplete version of the Thunder Emperor's superpower. All in all, there were many terrifying geniuses of various forces appearing in various mystical states. Obviously, they were all here for the opportunity in the immortal ancient world. Other than that, there was also news from the Archean royalty. The powerful Qilin son of the ancient Qilin cave seemed to have begun to appear. Wherever he went, purple chi would spread for thousands of miles. An auspicious Qilin shadow accompanied him. His aura was extremely powerful, and he could be called a top genius. Over at the Myriad Phoenix Spiritual Mountain, some people saw the appearance of a phoenix. Some people said that the Phoenix Child and Phoenix Maiden of the Myriad Phoenix Spiritual Mountain were preparing to enter the world. Huang Xuanyi and Feng Qingling could not be compared to the two of them. Huang Xuanyi and Feng Qingling were the most outstanding geniuses of the Myriad Phoenix Spiritual Mountain. As for the Phoenix Child and Phoenix Maiden, they were the top geniuses nurtured by the Myriad Phoenix Spiritual Mountain. Their statuses were different. Of course, at the same time, an even more shocking piece of news was spread. In the headquarters of the Zulong, Hong Province, almost all the living beings in Hong Province saw an extremely strange scene. In the sky above the Zulong, there was suddenly an earth-shattering dragon roar. 7 ancestral dragon shadows of different colors were hovering in the sky. Although the 7 dragons were all from the dragon clan, they were different. Among them, there was a blue dragon, a red dragon, a white dragon, and a black dragon. The 7 dragons represented the power of the 7 elements. If one took a closer look, each of the ancestral dragon shadows contained a bright and shining dragon essence. Finally, a figure broke out of seclusion and shook the heavens for thousands of miles. He roared into the sky and swallowed all 7 dragon essences into his body. In an instant, the violent dragon Qi surged and suppressed the entire Hong province. Zulong's forbidden first generation, Long Outyin, had come out of seclusion. Chapter 375. If one were to name the most famous geniuses in the Huangtian mystic realm, Long Outyin would definitely be one of them. When Long Outyin was born, the shadow of the ancestor dragon appeared, and the sky was filled with auspicious signs. He had the blood of the Emperor Dragon, which was the purest and noblest bloodline of the Dragon clan. Everyone in Zulong believed that Long Outyin was qualified to become a saint ancestor. However, Long Outyin did not disappoint, just as the experts of the lair of Zulong had expected. His talent was amazing. Challenging those a higher level was as easy as drinking water and eating. His domineering aura made countless geniuses of the current generation willingly submit to him. Many princesses and saintesses were also impressed by Long Outyin's heroic appearance. They admired him and fell in love with him. Not only that, but Long Outyin's luck was also off the charts. When Long Outyin entered the world to train, he once bought a worn-out broadsword from a stall at the price of 1 dawnstone. However, after Long Outyin baptized his own blood, the worn-out broadsword revealed its original form. It was a dragon soul broadsword that contained the sovereign dragon soul and had reached the level of a supreme weapon. After that, Long Outyin went to the secret lands of the 4 directions and collected many treasures. Not only that, but he also saved the beauty in the secret lands and captured the beauty's heart. Bai Mei'er, the Heavenly Fox clan's heavenly princess, was once trapped in a deadly array and was rescued by Long Outyin. She fell hopelessly in love with him. In addition, Long Outyin always got the best treasures in the auctions. Long Outyin was even proficient in alchemy and crafting weapons. All in all, There was nothing Long Outyin could not do. He was that awesome. Later, Zulong gave Long Outyin 7 dragon essences of different elements in order to train him. After that, Long Outyin went into seclusion to refine the 7 dragon essences. It could be said that before Jun Xiaoyao made a name for himself, Long Outyin was the most famous genius in the Huangtian mystic realm. Many descendants of the clan of the ancients were even surpassed by Long Outyin. Now, Long Outyin had finally finished refining the 7 dragon essences and came out of seclusion. The eyes of the entire Hong province were focused on Zulong. Outside the lair of Zulong, many figures appeared. They were the ancient royal clans who had rushed over to observe after sensing the changes in Zulong. Their eyes all looked over, finally seeing Zulong's exceptional talent, who had been in seclusion for a long time. Long Outyin's figure was tall and straight, his arms like an ape's and his waist like a bee's. Endless draconic energy circled around him, creating a myriad of scenes. He displayed the heroic bearing of an exceptional talent. His appearance was extremely outstanding as well. His eyebrows were slanted to his temples, his eyes were bright like stars, and his nose was sharp like a hanging gallbladder. He was handsome like a dragon steed and a phoenix chick, and his expression was heroic. In short, if he wasn't handsome, he wouldn't be able to live up to his name. Of course, he was still inferior to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao was publicly acknowledged as the most handsome young man in the immortal realms. He was an immortal-like character and was the cold white moonlight in the hearts of all young girls. Even Long Outyin could only be ranked second. However, what shocked everyone was not Long Outyin's appearance, but his cultivation level. He had reached the empty god realm. This had already broken the record for the highest cultivation among the younger generation. At least, he had the highest cultivation among all the prodigies who had appeared. He's reached the empty god realm. Isn't Long Outyin too terrifying? As expected of a forbidden first-generation talent, nurtured by Zulong. With the blood of the Emperor Dragon and 7 dragon essences, Long Outyin is extremely powerful. The various royal clans outside the Zulong were all amazed. Some of the young prodigies from the ancient royal clans felt ashamed of their inferiority. Compared to Long Outyin, they were simply trash. No, they were worse than trash. Long Outyin's expression was rather calm, as he felt the gazes from outside. However, the curve at the corner of his mouth revealed his inner thoughts. The feeling of being high above and being the center of attention was amazing. Refining 7 dragon essences allowed me to break through to the empty god realm. However, it's still not enough. I, Long Outyin, will break through to the heavenly god realm in the immortal ancient world. Long Outyin raised his head and looked at the mirage in the sky. He was ambitious. The empty god realm was the first stage of the 9 levels of the sage realm. After reaching the 9 levels of the sage realm, it was extremely difficult to break through to the next stage. However, Long Outyin seemed to be saying that breaking through to the next stage was not a big deal. Outyin, you've finally come out of seclusion. A group of Zulong elites appeared. Each of them was extremely powerful. However, they looked at Long Outyin with gratification. Zulong had been suppressed for too long. It was too miserable. Even the ancient freak Princess Longji had been defeated by Jun Xiaoyao. Zulong desperately needed a powerful prodigy to restore their reputation. Without a doubt, Long Outyin was the best candidate. Long Bichi, who was wearing a green soft armor, also appeared. Congratulations, Brother Outyin. You've refined 7 dragon essences and achieved great success. Long Bichi looked at Long Outyin with admiration. It was extremely difficult for an ordinary dragon prodigy to refine even 1 dragon essence. Even Long Bichi had only refined 2 dragon essences, and they were both ordinary ones. However, Long Outyin had refined 7 dragon essences in one go. Moreover, the dragon essences were of a more powerful attribute. This was the power of Long Outyin's Emperor Dragonblood. He was even more talented than some of the ancient freaks. After being defeated by Jun Xiaoyao, Long Bichi's Taoist heart was covered in dust. Long Outyin was the only hope left in her heart. Only Long Out Yin was qualified to compete with, or even defeat Jun Xiaoyao. Elders in Bichi, you're all here. By the way, where's my brother Hao Yin? Long Out Yin looked around and did not see his brother Long Hao Yin. Well, Out Yin, there are some things that we didn't tell you because you were focused on your seclusion. Let me tell you now. An elder of the lair of Zulong's side. When Long Out Yin was in seclusion, no one had disturbed him, let alone sent him messages. Therefore, Long Out Yin knew nothing about the outside world while he was in seclusion. Subsequently, the elders of the lair of Zulong told Long Out Yin about the series of events that had happened before. This included how his brother Long Hao Yin was killed by Jun Xiaoyao, how Princess Longji broke her seal, and how she was defeated by Jun Xiaoyao in the end. After hearing this, Long Out Yin's face turned cold. A terrifying, murderous intent filled the air, almost freezing the air. My brother was killed by the divine child of the Jun family? Long Out Yin's expression was cold, and a cold light flashed in his golden eyes. Out Yin, calm down. With your strength, you will definitely have a chance to defeat Jun Xiaoyao in the future, the Zulong elder said. Defeat? Haha, if I only defeat him, how can I avenge Hao Yin? How can I vent my anger? Long Out Yin's aura surged. The shadows of 7 ancestor dragons could be vaguely seen around him. A terrifying aura poured out in all directions. Out Yin, don't be rash and don't underestimate your opponent. Jun Xiaoyao can even defeat an ancient freak. He's not that simple, the Zulong elder warned. He was afraid that Long Out Yin would be at a disadvantage if he underestimated his opponent. After all, Long Out Yin's life had always been smooth sailing. He had never been defeated before. Don't worry, I won't make such a stupid mistake. However, I don't think that Jun Xiaoyao can threaten me. I, Long Out Yin, am the ruler of this world. Those who provoke me must die.